Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the RP Funding Center, Game 2 of the Tampa Bay Tornadoes American Arena League Games. I'm here with my co-host, Mike May. Mike May, how are you tonight?
I'd rather be here than nowhere else in the world. This is a great place to be tonight.
Absolutely, and as you can hear, we are on the field. The opposition is warming up. Just a quick recap of what happened last week. 48-20, a win for the Tornadoes. Great offense. Hey, right off the bat, an onside kick, scored right away, interception score, and the Tornadoes just kept it up the whole way. It was a great opening game. Now, when we look at what happened last week, it was really important because the team they played, the Predators, was an established Arena League team. And the Tornadoes absolutely had no trouble with them. So it was a big, big win for the Tornadoes. And as you'll see in the highlights when come up, it was a big number for the Tornadoes. And you know what, Mike? What do we see tonight in the Georgia-Lina Lions?
Well, they're filled with inexperience. They've had a couple of months of practice against one another, and I spoke to the head coach, Kay Gordon, a few minutes ago. He's just delighted to see them playing against someone else. They've beaten each other for a couple of months, and so he could see greatness today. He could see failure. He just wants to see his team play football, and then they'll go from there.
He just wants to play against somebody else, right, Mike?
Precisely. They've seen each other on offense and defense and special teams, and they're on the road. Many of these players have actually never been in this facility. Half their team has actually only played college football, so these are new players, young to the game, and just fired up about being here in Lakeland tonight.
In fact, we definitely advantage Tornadoes because they got one game under their belt, correct?
And the inexperience of playing this game in an arena like this. The head coach loves this facility, so.
Okay, we are going to go to the highlights here shortly, Mike, but I'll tell you what, this is a real home field advantage when you're looking at what's happening with the Arena Football League. The fact that they're coming into a situation where a lot of their guys haven't played with the boards, right?
Exactly. Also, these guys were on a long bus ride yesterday. They're playing in an environment which they're not used to. They're playing against teams that are more experienced. Tornado definitely more experienced than the Lions. So this is a learning experience for the Lions. We'll see how well they grow up tonight.
Yeah, in fact, just try to stay in the game for a while and see what happens. That's a big thing, and again, small steps for the Lions, right?
They very small steps, but I think they've got some experience. Their age range from 19 to 36, and it's an interesting mix of talents today.
Okay, we're going to go to the highlights last week. So when we're looking at the highlights, first we're going to see the touchdown that comes out from Breon Carnes. Watch what's happening here. You see the high motion. He comes back the same way. Bang. Carnes looks right away. Crossing route. Touchdown.
Practice makes perfect.
Big points right away. And you can see he was pretty happy. Now we're looking at another score, the second one. Again, pretty much the same thing. Caught them in his zone defense. And big points again. Now, the defense, and Mike, you're going to see this. The defense really played well. Here's a big pick six the other way. Watch what happens here. They were in a man-to-man, didn't recognize it. And here we go back the other way. Arthur Hobbs, 6. Now we're looking at another second interception. Same thing, jumps in front, goes up the sideline. Another TD here for the Tornadoes. Over the middle, cuts outside, touchdown. Great catch by the receiver there. Now we're going to look at a punt return. I take that back. Being another interception. This was a great catch by the Tornadoes. They're going to rule him down back there. So now we're going to the third TD. Again, Breon Carnes, plenty of time to throw, and again, Mike, I don't think he was sacked the whole night long. And you can see plenty of time, finds his receiver in the back of the end zone. Big score. Now we're going to take a look at the second half. Here's the opening second half kickoff. And yeah, folks, keep an eye on this one. He's going back the entire way. Ramil Workman. Touchdown, Tornadoes. Let's look at the third interception here. Third interception. Another pick. And you can see what's happening here. Another good play by the Tornadoes. So we're coming back. Mike, you can see it was really a combined effort by the offense, defense, special teams. In fact, they started off with an onside kick, which really caught everybody by surprise.
They say in football that some of the biggest changes and improvements from game 1 to game 2, as well as the Tornadoes played, I'm interested to see how well they progressed from last week to this week, especially against a very inexperienced team from Georgia-Lina.
Yeah, the big thing you don't want to have them do is read the press clippings. You don't want to have them come out and think, okay, this team doesn't look as good as the Predators, but they may be. We don't know. There's no film. There's nothing there. And, Mike, when you look at what to expect, what do you think we're going to see from the Lions?
Well, they've got some decent players. Their top quarterback is Hunter Ripley. He's got a background in baseball. Center fielder, shortstop, second baseman, third. He's got a good arm. And their top player is actually a defensive player, Timmel Hayes, middle inside linebacker, one of their older players. And again, they've got 12 players who play college football. Of their 24 players on the roster, half have played college football, half have not. Most of them have never stepped foot in this facility. So it's going to be a steep learning curve for the Lions tonight.
You know, let's, Mike, thanks for that. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back. We have an interview with the owner, from the owner's box, Alton Walker. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Funding Center, Leo Haggerty with Mike May. We had a chance to sit down with the owner, Alton Walker, this week, and we are calling this segment From the Owner's Box. Let's go to the interview with the Tornadoes owner, Alton Walker. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Owner's Box. We're here with the owner and general manager of the Tampa Bay Tornadoes, Alton Walker.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
for joining us today.
How you doing?
Okay, before we even start,
Yes.
you and I have a history. You got to tell the people about this.
Man, listen, Coach Haggerty, he was my high school football coach my sophomore year in high school. I ain't gonna tell you how old I am, so just know that it was back in the day where the great athletes and the great coaches come from to groom these young men that you see today. But man, it was a year that I had the most fun in high school I've ever had, Coach. Because I think when you guys came out to practice, I remember you, Coach Mitchell, and Coach Sutton. And man, before practice, it used to be like a comedy show. We would get out and warm up and have a good time, and then it was either you or Coach Sutton would come out with a joke, and we talking about people and this, that, and the other. So it really made football practice in high school fun. Even when we had to run, we didn't mind running for you because it was just one of we were family. So ironically, God just brought us together again now through the Tornadoes and the Tornado staff, man. And it was when Trace told me Leo Haggerty, I'm like, it sounds familiar. And then when we talked on the phone, I'm like, man, listen, that's family. That's family. It ain't even somebody that's new to me. That's family right there. So it was a pleasure for us to reconnect the way that we did, man. So it was, and that's just funny how God worked that thing, and not only with you, we have some more people that's on the team right now. I went to high school with their moms and dads, and now their kids are playing with us. So it's a good thing.
This team is like your baby. You talk about family.
Yes.
You gave birth to the first win. What was that like last Saturday night? 48-20 over an established Carolina Predators team.
Yeah, man, it was kind of like one of the second best things in my life, you know, besides my kids being born. Some of the fans and some of the staff know the hurdles and trials and tribulations we had to go through to get to that point. You know, and a lot of times with COVID and all this other kind of stuff, we didn't even think we were going to get there. And then when the time comes for the game and we were playing and we won, I'm like, oh man, my parents were up in the stands, my kids were there and everything, and it was just one of the best feelings ever. Especially to see the first touchdown and the first set of fans and everything coming to the building, it was great.
Alton, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Look for this segment every week. Leo Haggerty with Tampa Bay Tornadoes owner Alton Walker. Yeah, that was our interview with Alton Walker. Again, we're going to run that segment pretty much every week, find out what the owner's thinking. But let's talk about the game today, Mike. What do you expect to see from the Lions in terms of their opening game?
Well, Coach Gordon said, that they're probably going to go 70-30 pass run. Actually, maybe a little bit more running because he's got some talented athletes, so he's going to put the football in the hands of the players who can make a difference. The strength of his team is front five and defense, led by the middle inside linebacker Timmel Hayes. And again, he's got a very talented quarterback. That's Hunter Rippey, who's got a background in baseball, good arm, and he says his size will be deceiving. He's not that big, but he's a talented, athletic guy who can move this offense.
You know, when we look at what's going to happen with the Tornadoes, let's talk about offense first. Breon Carnes is the straw that stirs the drink. He has to have a good game for this team to go. Again, they throw it a lot more than they run it because Carnes is a good athlete. On defense, they were able to get to the quarterback last week. That was a huge plus for the defense. And I'll tell you what, they run a lot of combination coverages in the secondary. They ran a lot of zone early. Then they switched off to what we call man under single free. And that was the first interception. They actually had a free safety, and they were man under. And the Predators, they didn't recognize it. And that's the key. They're going to show a lot of looks to the Lions and see what happens there.
Well, the Tornadoes were impressive last week, first game of the year, and the Lions say our strength is our defense, and I think the Tornadoes' strength is our offense, so how's that going to mesh? And again, the Lions have a very talented quarterback. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, the immovable force against the immovable object. Let's see what happens.
Precisely.
Hey, for Mike May, Leo Haggerty, we'll see you at halftime and after the game, but sit back, enjoy the game. Tampa Bay Tornadoes, Georgia-Lina Lions. For the spin, we're out of here. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I ask that you all please rise for the singing of our national anthem, performed tonight by Miss Cheryl Kegler.
What so proudly we hailed, and the twilight's gleaming, whose broad strides and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets began, the mountains by stinging iron, getting through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, sad does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Cheryl Kegler.
A tornado watch has been posted, and who knows, find out next if it turns into a tornado warning as the American Arena League presents the Tampa Bay Tornadoes as they host the Georgia-Lina Lions. And hello again, football fans. Welcome to the RP Funding Center here in Lakeland, Florida. I'm Brian Ackley along with Mike May for the second game of the season now for the Tampa Bay Tornadoes. It's all kind of new, Mike. Tampa Bay does have a win under their belt last week against Carolina, a pretty convincing win at that. For Georgia-Lina, they don't really know what to expect. This is their first out of the gate here this evening.
I spoke with their head coach, Kay Gordon, earlier, and he said, we're ready to play. He almost doesn't care how they play. He just wants to see them play, compete, pass, catch, tackle, whatever. He wouldn't be surprised if they're brilliant. He wouldn't be surprised if they're bad.
Yeah, and so we'll all find out together. They have been practicing for a couple of months, and it's like spring training in baseball or training camp in football. You get to that point where you just want to hit somebody in a different colored uniform, and that's kind of the way Georgia-Lina is approaching this game here tonight. Had to laugh. You were mentioning and talking to Coach Gordon. He's so unsure about everything. He didn't know if he was going to accept the football or defer if he wins the toss. So we'll find out here as we head down to the field for the coin toss as these two clubs get ready to do battle in Lakeland here on this Sunday evening.
Sunday night football in Lakeland.
There you go. We don't have any referee audio. We apologize for that. So we'll try and figure it out from the signals.
I think we can probably read their body language to figure out who's going to do what.
Well, there we go. I think I just, yep.
Will you do the honor of doing the coin toss? Go ahead and flip it.
Looks like we have an honorary member of the.
Go ahead, Georgia, make the call. Heads is what they call we would roll. What do we got? Tails, Tampa. You're going to want to receive. Which way do you want to get it?
All right, so the Tornadoes have their first official win of the evening on the coin toss that rolled out of the center area, but the Tornadoes win it, so they will get the ball first here behind quarterback Breon Carnes, who is maybe the most experienced and probably not a stretch, Mike, to say the most talented indoor player on the field. He's got quite a history both in high school, college, and in the indoor game. Played 3 seasons with the Iowa Barnstormers, one of the more iconic franchises in the history of Arena football, and had a lot of success there. And everything kind of revolves around Breon Carnes here.
He had a great week last week through multiple touchdown passes. You mentioned the Barnstormers. Of course, you can't help but think of Kurt Warner, quarterback himself. So will Breon Carnes be the next Kurt Warner? We're lucky to have him with us tonight.
Yeah, you never know. And in talking to a lot of the guys before the game and being around arena football for the last few years myself here in Lakeland, where they've had a couple of franchises, it's kind of all about the dream. All about the opportunity to perhaps move up in the Arena League pecking order, if you will, to the National Arena League, which is kind of the premier arena league that's left now in this sport, or who knows, beyond. As you mentioned, Kurt Warner with Iowa, the most obvious story about an indoor player going on to phenomenal success in the National Football League, and it's for the love of the game. I mean, they just, every single guy out here loves to compete, loves the game, has been playing it literally since their Pop Warner days, and they're just not ready to hang it up. So they come out and will put on a very good show here at the RP Funding Center. So we are just about ready to kick it off. Ramel Workman is the man deep here for Tampa Bay, and he will take a look as it sails out of play for a touchback. So Breon Carnes and the Tampa Bay offense will go to work here with their first possession of this Sunday evening.
I was looking at the rosters, and about 3/4 of the roster for Tampa Bay, they have college experience, and just under half of the guys from Georgia are experienced at the college level, and the Tornadoes have some guys who played D1.
Yeah, you look at their college, I mean, Duke, Nebraska, USF, I mean, it runs the gamut from that to Weber International right down the road in Lake Wales, a very good NAIA school, Rutgers, Alabama State, Youngstown State. So, yeah, there's a lot of talent out here. Much of it is very local. We'll talk about that as Carnes takes a look at the Lions defensive set. Back to throw, has a completion, and that is out to Ricardo Brown in Lions territory at the Georgia-Lina 22, just short of a first down.
I was watching Carnes in the pregame. He was sharp then, he's sharp now, and he was sharp last week. They talk about the strides that teams make in football from week 1 to week 2. Tornadoes were great last week. Can they be better this week?
Yeah, that's the scary part if you're Georgia-Lina, because the Tornadoes have had the opportunity to tee it up and, as we said, knock some heads against people in different colored uniforms, and Georgia-Lina has not. 3 wide receiver look here for Tampa Bay with Brown just getting the snap off. Here's a throw over the middle, and that's complete to Barnes, and Janelle Barnes can't hang on. Had it for a moment inside the 15, but couldn't control it, so Tampa Bay will come up with a 3rd and short here at the Carolina 21.
The pass was fairly accurate. I think the receiver was just trying to move before he had the ball. Ball gets dropped.
Can happen at any level. You got to look it into your hands first before you make that move.
The strength of the Georgia-Lina squad is in their front 5, specifically Hayes, their middle inside linebacker, Tamel Hayes.
They're going to need to get a pass rush on Carnes, that's for sure. Here's a handoff. Looking for a first down. Ridden out of bounds is Josh Hicks, but I believe he got across the line to gain. He did inside the 20 to about the 18, so it's another Tampa Bay first down. You don't see a lot of running plays in the indoor game, but a smart call there by Coach Thomas and the staff to move the sticks, although I think they probably would have gone for it on 4th and short there.
I think when it comes to Georgia-Lina with the ball, they may run a little bit more than Tampa Bay. They've couple of the strengths of their squad are in their running backs. They'll put the ball in the hands of their the guys who can move it.
And they may want to slow the game down just a little bit anyway. Carnes looks, fires underneath. That's Andre Davis. Davis at the 10, at the 5, and under tackle there. Javarius Carr, the first man to get there for Georgia-Lina, but it's another first down for the Tornadoes. A first and goal. They will mark it at the 6-yard line. Nice little underneath look there from Carnes to Andre Davis.
While the strength of Georgia-Lina may be that front 5, the offensive line for Tampa Bay is keeping them at bay. Barnes has got him plenty of time to throw that football.
Yeah, hasn't been under any serious pressure. Had to roll out just on that second down play that was an incomplete. But, yeah, he's had a chance to look and see what's available. And here's a little timing pattern to the end zone, and a flag is down. The intended receiver over there was Davis, and he was interfered with, I believe, by Travis Beatty Jr. So we'll get a call here of pass interference, I do believe.
Pass interference. Defense, number 2. Foul happened in
So to be honest, it looks like the boards were probably as much of an impediment as the opposition.
automatic prisoner.
Davis ran out of a room there in the right corner of the end zone. So first and goal now from, we'll call it the 2. So we'll see if they want to put it up here or maybe call a running play, although Carnes is alone in the backfield right now. Now he's got a man in motion. There's the snap. Carnes will take a look. Not a lot of space, and that's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Good defensive play by Reuben Walker. He got a paw on that one. It's tough down there in the arena game. It's not nearly as easy as it looks when you're down at that 2 or 3 yard line. There's just not a lot of space, and even though there's only 14 guys on the field, finding a passing lane sometimes, Mike, can be difficult down there.
In some respects, that pass interference call may have been something Tampa Bay didn't want because we have less space. There was more room to work with, and that ball was like at the 7 or 8 yard line.
Yeah, kind of a crazy conundrum there, but that is in fact a point. Again, motion this time by Barnes. Here's the throw, and it's a catch and a touchdown. Touchdown Tornadoes, John L. Barnes.
Barnes had a touchdown cast last week. I was speaking in pregame. I said, you had such a good game last week. We expect at least 2 out of you this week. He said, I'll do what I can. He's got 1 right now. So Carnes to Barnes.
Carnes to Barnes. Almost sounds like a law firm. So Tampa Bay takes the early lead here, less than 4 minutes into the first.
That sounds like a good newspaper headline for tomorrow. Carnes to Barnes.
Sachs,
and I'm sure it won't be the last time tonight.
I am sure not. Saxamaglia on to tack on the extra point here. It's a 20-yard kick in the arena game. Snap is not good, so it goes to Samaglia. He's going to have to throw it. Throws it back the other way, but this play is going to get blown up as Javarius Carr had Ramel Workman all contained, so the extra point try is no good, and the Tampa Bay lead will stay at 6-0. And that is something that very early in the season, sometimes on those special teams, that exchange from center to the holder on a place kick can be a bit of an issue. We saw that a couple of times in watching the pregame warm-ups. I noticed that a couple of times both ways. It's not something that you generally practice a lot during the week. You do some, but...
Of course, the Tornado, they practice in this facility
they
5 nights a week.
Yep.
And I'm sure they had probably a number of spotless placements. And
look at the Carnes to Barnes connection here. And again, you pointed out, Mike, on that first drive that Brian Carnes has been getting all kinds of time, and he had plenty of time to find Barnes on this one. Just cutting across the middle, and Nate Frazier and Lane Phillips, the defenders, just a half step behind, but a half step in arena football, you might as well be 3 or 4 steps behind, because that is happens very quick in this sport, and Brian Carnes has his first touchdown of the game.
Barnes, of course, had 3 years at Duke University.
Pretty productive receiver for the Blue Devils.
And I said, once a Blue Devil, always a Blue Devil? He said, yes, sir.
Kick will actually hit the ceiling here at the RP Funding Center. So that will be, I believe they will call that as an automatic touchback. And Georgia-Lina will start at the 20-yard line.
I think it's probably fair to say when this building was built, they didn't have Arena Football League in mind.
I have not seen the ball hit the roof. I've done a couple of years worth of arena football here in Lakeland broadcasting, and I have seen it, but not as often as you would think. I've seen it as much in indoor soccer with the Florida Tropics, who also call the RP Funding Center home. So it is a first down at the 20. Here's a quick throw to Levante Jackson from Hunter Rippey, the quarterback, and that'll go incomplete.
That was an interesting throw by Rippey. I was watching him extensively in the pregame. He was putting as much zip of the ball as Carnes was, and that was sort of like an alley-oop type pass.
Yeah, it was kind of like a shot put there to the sideline. I'm not sure if there was perhaps a reason he saw a rusher or something that he had to change his motion. We've got an injury timeout on the field. Don't know, down in the far.
And also he was under center, and I was watching him in the pregame, and he was all in the shotgun.
Yeah, that is unusual in the arena game. That is Jordan Guest, who is shaken up for Tampa Bay, and is going to walk slowly to the Tornadoes bench on the far sideline.
Yeah. That short throw, as you called it, like a shot put throw, was almost like an alley-oop you throw from the 3-yard line, just trying to get like a jump pass.
Yeah, it was unusual looking on a lot of fronts. As you pointed out, Rippey was under center, which is not unheard of in the game, but not usual. And
and when you're a young, inexperienced team, putting your quarterback in the shotgun gives you a little bit extra time, and you need that against.
Yeah, and it looks like he'll operate from the shotgun here. They might have just been trying to catch the Tornadoes a little off guard there.
Caught me off guard.
It caught me off guard as well. Rippey fakes. Now he's going to take off across the 20 and is under tackle after a rather short game. Bentley easily making the stop out at the 22-yard line. So a pickup on the play of about 2. And it'll bring a 3rd and 8 up here for Carolina.
Rippey's background is in baseball, center fielder, shortstop, third baseman. He's got a good arm.
Good athlete.
Good athlete.
And that's what you need in this game. And there's a snap that's bobbled and went off the helmet of Jalen Oden, who is going to take a direct snap, I believe, there. But Georgia-Lina will recover the fumble. And we have a timeout on the field, an official media timeout. So it'll bring up a 4th down now here for Georgia-Lina. Let's get down to our sideline reporter, News Channel 8's Gabriella.
Yes, I am down here next to the Tampa Bay Tornadoes bench. Guys, I want to highlight something. If you notice, during the starting announcements, when they named the starting players, Ramel Workman, they called his name, he didn't run out of the tunnel. Well, that player, he had 4 touchdowns in the Tampa Bay Tornadoes' first game, their win. I was a little concerned. I asked Coach, hey, where's your star? And he said, well, he's coming from Orlando. He's stuck in traffic. Don't worry, he will be here. I just grabbed him here on the bench, and he said, yep, no pregame warm-up, didn't stretch. I'll stretch during the game, but I am here. I'll send it back to you guys.
Gabrielle Shirley from News Channel 8 in Tampa, thanks for that report. Stuck in traffic. That never happens in Central Florida. Likely story.
It's like having your dog eat your lunch or your homework.
So 4th down now here for the Lions. They will have to get to the Tornado 20, and again a bobbled snap, and Rippey's just going to have to cover it down near the goal line. He was not expecting the snap from the center, Richard Stavely, whose family had a chance to talk to before the game, made the trip from Augusta, where the Lions play their home games, about a 6.5-hour drive, and not exactly what the Stavely family wanted to see here early on. So the Tornadoes will get a glorious scoring chance here with a 1st and goal again at about the 2.5-yard line.
I knew the Lions head coach Kay Gordon was not expecting perfection, but I don't think he expected disaster in the first.
Yeah, that was a little choppy.
That started bad and it just got worse.
Yeah, it did. Carnes will pitch right side. This is Josh Hicks, and he is stopped. Nope. He is going to be in for the score. Touchdown, Tornadoes. Looked like they might get him out there near the 1-yard line, and Hicks able to cut through and bust into the end zone. So it's now 12-0 Tampa Bay here. Still 7.5 minutes plus to go in the first. And the Tornadoes only miscue. They'll see if they can correct the point after try here.
That's the only bad thing that's gone by for
that's
a tornado,
about it.
But
that and traffic. Extra point try. This one is up. It is true and through. And Tampa Bay leads it now 13-0.
Great exterior blocking by those wide receivers that made the run for Hicks possible.
Yeah, this is in one way it's like regular football, and that is even though there's only 3 linemen offensively and defensively, games can very much be won and lost up front. It's not a glamorous job. It's not something that draws a lot of headlines, but as we've talked about already, a guy like Breon Carnes, who you give him a couple and a half seconds back there, he can do a lot of damage, and it's up to those offensive linemen to provide that opportunity. And as we've seen on the first 2 possessions, Georgia-Lina not able to get on the same page, and the Tornadoes have been on the same page offensively with their first 2 possessions, although that second one obviously a very short one, one-play drive.
For Hicks, a Rutgers player, another positive bit of news for Rutgers in athletics this weekend. He scores touchdown. Their men's basketball team wins for the first time in 38 years.
Yeah, they're playing tonight, right, I think,
I
also,
believe so.
if I'm not mistaken. Kickoff will hop out over the end boards. Jalen Odom took a look but couldn't corral it for Georgia-Lina, so the Lions will start again at their own 20. Yeah, Hicks was actually a really good player at Rutgers. You talk about Rutgers running backs, and of course Ray Rice is the player that comes to mind, but Hicks was the MVP in the 2004 Quick Lane Bowl, one of the NCAA major bowl games. He ran for over 200 yards in that game, and only the second Rutgers running back in their history to do that. Ray Rice, the only other one. So you talk about the talent that's out here, the level of talent, especially on that Tampa Bay sideline, and it's not shabby by any stretch. Here's a little option play, and Rippey going to keep it, and that'll be the Lions' best play here of the first quarter, a gain of 5 out to the midfield line, which, of course, in arena football is 25. But, yeah, the Lions might be well served here, Mike, to keep it on the ground a little bit.
Well, when they execute a decent snap and the ball is caught, they can do good things with it. And again, Rippey's a good athlete.
Right, just going to say, take advantage of Rippey's athleticism. Now he's under center again. Thought about throwing, can't do it, and he's going to escape one tackle, and he's going to stay on his feet, throws, and flags are down, and this will be a...
I must say, I'm a little confused why they're putting Rippey under center. He could definitely get himself another second half of time, not having to backpedal.
Well, he ran for his life there as we take a look at the replay. This will be an offensive foul. Probably, I don't know if they're going to call it an illegal block in the back, and that'll be against the Lions. Rippey did a good job escaping that initial rush by Jackson, but could not really escape the second one and get a good play away. So the ball will be stepped back to the 15-yard line, brings up a 2nd and 25 now. And that is all kinds of trouble written over it, all over it for the Lions here, who will put Rippey back in the shotgun here. All three receivers now to Rippey's right. He'll look back to his left. Nice executed play here. 15, 10, and down to the 8-yard line. Boy, that is a pretty executed play as Lane Phillips takes it all the way to the Tampa Bay 8. Simmons finally makes the stop, but what a beautifully drawn up play that was.
Found his receiver in space. Receiver caught it, did the rest.
Overloaded to the right and came back to the left. Now Rippey going to try and take it himself, puts his head down and gets maybe a yard, and that's all. Couple of Tampa Bay tacklers there, Jordan Guest among them. Let's head down to the sidelines again. Here's Gabrielle Shirley.
That last touchdown scored by Tampa Bay Tornadoes player Josh Hicks. Well, I had him on my radar. I had talked to Coach after the last game, and I said, what do you want to improve on? And he said, we had a great game, but we need to implement the running game. When I asked him today, how do you plan on doing that? He gave me a name, Josh Hicks, and he said, look out for this kid. He's going to be a game changer. I'll send it back to you guys.
Flag on the play as Rippey keeps it himself. Thank you, Gabrielle. Gabrielle Shirley from WFLA, our sideline reporter here on all Tampa Bay Tornadoes broadcasts, and wonderful to have her along here this season. I believe this may be a motion penalty against the Lions. We'll see.
Interesting decision by Rippey to go weak side where there's
the
least amount of space, the most amount of traffic. He's not exactly the biggest guy, so it's tough for him to make progress.
Actually, they're going to call it offsides against Tampa Bay, so Georgia-Lina will get some free yardage here. Ronnie Scott, the guilty party, lined up offsides, so that'll move the football inside the 5, and it'll bring up a second and goal from just about the 4-yard line. 13-0 Tampa Bay on top here early. Rippey will go under center again. 2 wideouts left, 1 to the right. See if they might want to try that option again, or they're going to give it to the big guy, and he's going to rumble in. Untouched, that's Tremaine Germany. And a nice possession for the Georgia-Lina Lions, rather. And Tremaine Germany caps off the drive with a 4-yard run.
It was almost like there was a screen play there, and he ran into the screen, went right. Again, Kay Gordon said that they'll probably run the ball a fair amount, 70% pass, 30% run. To be honest, so far it looks like they're at 70% run, 30% pass, but they're on the board, and they've cut that lead in half.
Yeah, it's not conventional arena strategy, but it worked beautifully on that drive, and the one big pass play, kind of the reverse screen, if you will, really set that all up. So the Lions right back in it here in the first quarter.
Rippey holding the ball.
And that extra point try is
barely
no good.
Now they called it good.
Oh, it did go through. My goodness. All right. Lane Phillips line drives it just above the crossbar. It's good. So there you go. It's 13-7, and we've got ourselves a ball game here at the RP Funding Center. I'm not sure anyone in the building thought Tremaine Germany was going to get the football there, Mike, but hey, if you can't out-talent them, then out-guess them, right? Keep them guessing, and that's what Georgia-Lina did well on that drive at least.
Germany is such a big guy that he's not easy to track down, and when he starts up hiding behind the lineman.
Can he actually hide? That would be my question.
I think there were 3 linemen in front. But then he went right and chose the better option, and he found pay dirt.
That was a little refrigerator William Perry-esque, although he didn't actually have to bulldoze anybody to get in the end zone. He actually was pretty much untouched. So good for Tremaine Germany, good for the Lions, and it's 13-7.
I like the refrigerator Perry analogy, as I think Clemson Tiger fans would agree.
Workman again deep here for Tampa Bay, and this one will again sail into the seats, so the Tornadoes will start it out at the 20 as a little extracurricular down here on the near sideline. Everyone's good. It's, the aforementioned Josh Hicks, the running back who was on special teams there. So 1st and 10 now for Tampa Bay at the 20, their third possession, 2 for 2 on their possessions. Although, as we said, that second one just starting at the Georgia-Lina 3-yard line.
That was probably going to be Tampa Bay's shortest drive of the year, both in plays and in yardage, and it was
they'll take it.
Hicks over right tackle, pay dirt.
Carnes has his play from the bench. His best year in Iowa, he threw for 19 touchdowns and scored 6 rushing as well. Started out as a wide receiver at the University of Nebraska and then transferred to Northern Iowa. Going to throw to the far sideline, and that is a completion there to Andre Davis. Did he hang on? I think he did at the Lions 21. So a pickup of 9, and it'll bring up 2nd and short. Nice hands reception that time by Davis, who Carnes had a lot of mustard on that one, and Davis made a nice grab.
Sharp route, sharp pass, good execution. It was almost like that there was no defender out there until after the catch.
2 wideouts left. Motion man is Brown. Carnes looking his way, can't find him, now looks downfield and has another completion. Again, it's Davis on his knees at the 10. I don't think Davis was the intended receiver when that play began, but Carnes did a nice job scrambling to his right to keep the play alive, and on his knees was Andre Davis for his 2nd straight catch, and the Tornadoes have a 1st and goal just inside the 10.
Carnes' vision down the field is just impeccable. He never takes his eye off downfield opportunities. Scrambling to his right, didn't even plant his back foot. Rifled it in there.
Davis is the man wide to the left. And Carnes is sacked and fumbles, and the Lions going to try and pick it up, and I think they will. It's Reuben Walker who caused the fumble, and Walker who pounces on it at the Tampa Bay 22. So we've talked about how good the Tampa Bay offensive line has been so far. Well, a little leaky there, and Carnes coughs it up, and all of a sudden, Georgia-Lina has it at the Tampa Bay 22.
Well, that's the strength of Carolina. I guess they had to have a couple of series to wake up, but that front 5 is their strength, and they, first time in the game, they really put pressure on Carnes, and he coughed it up. And
credit to those Lions defensive secondary players. They have done a pretty good job in coverage, and Carnes just couldn't find anybody to begin with. Now Rippey has it. He's going to try and sidestep. One player can't do it. Couple of players in there, Terry Johnson and Jordan Guest on the pass rush. Take a look at the replay here, Mike.
Just a bull rush.
Yeah, I mean, Guest came right up the middle untouched. Just a half-second delay before he made the penetration, and Terry Johnson also right there as well to
Johnson found a gap, and he was unblocked.
Create the loss of about 8 on the play. And we've got, is this a, false start here against the Lions. So after creating the turnover and potentially putting themselves in position to go on a go-ahead touchdown drive, they have given up a sack and taken a 5-yard penalty. So now 2nd and 23. And big chunks of yardage other than that one play has not been the Lions' calling card here so far. Rippey from the shotgun has a little bit of time. There's that play again to the weak side. Complete to Odom, 10-5, and he is in for the touchdown. Second time in the first quarter that Georgia-Lina has loaded one side and gone back the other way, and Odom sails into the end zone to tie it at 13. Wow.
Coach Gordon for the Lions probably felt if that one play to the to the left can work once, it can work a second time, and it was even better. They scored, and
yeah, I was going to say, if Georgia-Lina nothing else, they know they've got one play that so far is gold, as we have one of the Tornado players shaken up.
Two wide receivers to the right.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing fancy, and then they send the other receiver that way as well. So all three receivers flood the right side of the field, and Odom just kind of leaks out into the left flat, and no one from Tampa Bay is the wiser. They're not picking up that formation and finding that back, sliding out of the backfield. It's a pretty simple play, but you do it once. What's the expression? Shame on you, fool me twice, and
shame on me.
Yeah, so.
Great block there by a teammate on the 15-yard line that really sprung him open. Again, all these players they're looking to do well here, but they're looking to be seen and possibly picked up by a higher level indoor league or even the National Football League.
Yeah, no, it's these guys have dreams. I mean, as we've talked about and chronicled a little bit, and will continue to chronicle here this evening, they have good college careers, great high school careers in many cases. Carnes, a local product. Hicks, a local product for the Tampa Bay area. So yeah, they're doing it for the love of the sport, but to fill a competitive void. And as you said, keep that dream alive. The extra point try is blocked and then picked up, and this will result in no extra point here for the Lions, so we will stay tied here in the final minute of the first quarter at 13. And 2 or 3 minutes into this game, Mike, if you'd have told me we were going to be tied maybe at the end of the first quarter, I might have asked for a temperature check. Credit to the Lions.
Well, they had a disastrous first drive, ended in a turnover.
With a capital D.
Yes.
Right now, let's head down to the sidelines. Gabrielle Shirley, what do you got for us?
Well, you all saw that tough hit that Breon Carnes took. He was going to throw the ball. He was hit from his blind side, fumbled the football. Then 3 plays later, one of those plays included a flag. This team scores a touchdown, and they are back in this game. Well, Carnes, he came off the field. Clearly, he was not happy. There was some yelling on the bench, not arguing, but just these players trying to get each other fired up. Mostly they were saying, wake up. They were pointing to their heads. This is a mental game, and they want to get back in it. I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, I think the most surprised people in the building might be the Tornadoes themselves. Not that they came in necessarily overconfident, but when you have an unknown opponent and you know they're playing their first game, you've already got one in the books, you certainly would have a reason to be confident. And you go up 13-0, that certainly swells that confidence, and now all of a sudden you're in a dogfight.
Let's see if the Tornado have paid attention to this wake-up call.
Carnes will stand back in the shotgun at his own 15. Has Ricardo Brown in motion, wants to go deep to Brown. He's open, can he recover? He does! Touchdown! Travis Beatty was the man that Brown burned, but we do have a flag back near the line of scrimmage. And this might be against Tampa Bay, we'll see. Brown went one-on-one with Beatty down the far sideline, beat him, and did a nice job to regain his stride and haul in a well-thrown ball from Carnes, but
I think that ball was in the air before Brown hit the pads, and then he regained his feet, and before you knew it, the ball was in his hands.
The flag is all the way back out at the line of scrimmage, and we're having quite a discussion here amongst the officiating crew to see if it in fact
illegal motion against the Tornadoes.
And I think they called it against the man that caught the touchdown, Brown. Here's a look at the replay. We'll take a look at the far top of the screen here. Brown did go in motion, backed up, and then He was well past the line of scrimmage when the ball was snapped. So that one will cost not only 6 points but 5 yards. And the Tornadoes will go in business 1st and 10 now from their 15. 2 wideouts to the right this time, and Brown now to the left as time expires here at the end of the first quarter. Well, it's been a lot more fun than perhaps some of us thought it might be here in the RP Funding Center at Lakeland. 1 quarter in the books. It's the Tampa Bay Tornadoes 13, the Georgia-Lina Lions 13. And we will switch ends of the field, but Mike May, a little bit of a surprise to see the 2 teams tied here at the end of 1, and maybe we've got a competitive game on our hands.
Looks
here
like
tonight.
We've got a great game, and Georgia-Lina would take away that first bad drive. They've been sharp, and they've shown a weakness in the secondary of the Tornadoes.
That big turnover, too, that big sack on Carnes and the fumble recovery by Reuben Walker, who caused the fumble, and then those 2 plays really defined the entire quarter for the Lions. Those 2 kind of reverse screens, if you will. Both went for big yardage. One set up the first touchdown. The second one resulted in a touchdown. And so, it's not like Tampa Bay was awful defensively in that half. Just 2 plays really were all the difference. But in arena football, it can happen that quickly. And you've got to be on your toes for those kinds of situations. The thing is, the second time it happened, it was the exact same formation. 2 wide receivers on one side, the third wide receiver coming to that side to overload. And the first time you don't recognize it, you kind of get, but you would hope defensively second time around you would see exactly what would be happening. And I don't know if the Lions have a third one in them or not, although I'm sure they'll try. Carnes, he's going to look deep again. He's looking for Barnes and just overthrows Johnell at the goal line. Barnes drawing double coverage that time. Nate Frazier and Javrius Carr back defending. Pretty good defense there by the Lions, but Barnes did have a half step, just a yard or 2 over his head.
Just a few inches away from another Carnes to Barnes.
That has been a popular connection here. Has one of the touchdowns here tonight. Josh Hicks the other on the ground from 3 yards out. So 2nd and 15 now from the 15. This will be Ramel Workman, the man in motion. Again, a deep look down the field. Workman can't hang on. Had it inside the 10, hit him in the hands. He was kind of turned the wrong way and was unable to hang on to it as he tumbled to the turf.
Here's the replay. Hits him in the hands once and twice. Can't bring it down.
Nicely thrown again. Carnes had it right on the money. Dropped it right in over a couple of different Lions defenders back there. So now 3rd and 15. Workman again, same formation. Let's see if they try it again. No, this time it'll be a near sideline throw to Davis, a timing pattern, but Davis was a little late on the turn as Carnes took a big hit right after he let go, and I think that was the problem there.
Scott Boutwell, the defensive lineman for
Boutwell got in there.
Got to Barnes, Carnes.
A little bit quicker than I think the Tornadoes would have liked, and that disrupted the timing of that pass pattern because Davis hadn't even turned by the time the ball had gotten there.
That was probably one of Breon Carnes' worst throws, a little wobbly there.
I think he just got it. He had to rush it, no question about it. So field goal try coming up here for Zach Smaglia. And it'll be a long one. It'll come from inside his own 10 at about the 7. So this is about a 47-yard try, and it's blocked. Blocked and recovered in the end zone. And that will be a safety against the Tornadoes as Workman recovers the blocked field goal. And Georgia-Lina has taken a lead of 15-13 and will get the ball back.
Georgia-Lina is playing like the team that won last week rather than the Tornadoes.
Well, momentum really, really swung in a big way on that turnover. And they have controlled the game ever since, quite honestly.
One thing you can't measure is the heart and desire.
Yep.
And of the Lions. And on paper, they're not even in the same ballpark. But they get out in this field, they put on the gear, and they realize they're playing for their present and their future, and they do some things that are quite amazing.
Tiddlywinks, college football, NBA, doesn't matter. You let a team think they're good, let them hang around, give them some confidence, funny things happen. And so far, 15 unanswered points now by the Lions to lead at 15-13 here. And they will get the football. So the Stavely family pretty happy they made the drive here from Augusta in their neon orange tops with the number 59 on the back for their son Richard, who's at center tonight for the Lions. Played college football up at Catawba College in North Carolina, Division II.
Salisbury, North Carolina.
That is correct. Well done, Mr. May. You passed. Gold star.
I've been to Salisbury, North Carolina
a few times,
and I know all about Catawba College.
So Samaglio will kick it off here. Deep man for Georgia-Lina will take it in his end zone. 10, 15, and under tackle at about the 16-yard line goes Savon Stokes. So not a great drive start here for the Lions, but they will have it at the 16.
So far, a very entertaining Sunday night football game.
Yeah, it really has been. It's been good. I mean, it's been.
Is it fair to say this is the most entertaining Sunday night football game in Florida?
Tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
Don't go away, as they say.
The best is yet to come.
Because the Lions are not. Rippey will operate from the shotgun. Probably been more out of the shotgun than under center, but a little bit of both, and that's batted down at the line of scrimmage. Kwanzi Jackson got a mid on that one. So it'll bring up a 2nd and 10 from the 16. Actually, not a bad crowd here on a Sunday evening. Better than might have anticipated as well. A lot of folks making the drive over from the Tampa Bay area. We appreciate that.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
You beat me to the punch.
This is the only Sunday night game on the home schedule. I believe all the rest, most are Saturday nights, which are obviously good nights to get out and enjoy some football. Running play here by Jalen Oden. Gets across the 20 to the 21. I think there's one more Friday home date as well on the Tornadoes schedule. They'll be back here at the RP Funding Center April 3rd. That's a Saturday night start at 7 o'clock, so we hope to see you out here at the RP Funding Center in Lakeland. It's right off Route 4, a couple of miles, or Interstate 4, so not hard to get to. Here's a quick throw and a completion on the far sideline to Levante Jackson, who has the first down at the Tampa Bay 20, and they'll mark it out at the 21.
Lots of zip in those passes by Rippey.
That was his best pass of the night for sure.
Easily. Using his shortstop baseball skills to get the ball to the target like he's throwing to first base.
Ronnie Hardison over there on the defense. Made a good one-on-one stop. If he gets by Hardison there, it's 6 points again for the Lions. First down at the 21. Odom in the backfield to the right flank of Rippey. He'll take the handoff, and he will bounce off one would-be tackler, but not a second and a third, as a whole bunch of Tornadoes swirl in there to make the stop. Jordan Guest was the man who finally brought him to the turf with a little help from his friends. But a loss on the play of about 5. So it'll bring up 2nd and 15 back out at the 24 now. Rippey again in the shotgun. He's got all 3 receivers to the left this side. So we'll see. Nope. They're going to send a man that way. Underneath, that's Levante Jackson, but that pass went through Jackson's hands. Incomplete. So again, the Lions load the left side of the field. Wasn't the same play that they ran in the first quarter with so much success, Mike, but the same idea.
Had that ball been caught, I don't think it would have been taken for first down yardage because the Tornadoes had it. But if you're rooting for the Tornadoes, you're happy to see that drop ball.
Been a couple of those tonight as we have a timeout on the field with 8:46 to go in the first half here. Brian Ackley along with Mike May as the Tampa Bay Tornadoes make a bid to go 2-0 on the season after opening last week with a relatively easy and lopsided win as it turned out over the Carolina Predators. They put up 48 points on the board last Saturday night. They might need 48 or more here tonight. Who knows before all is said and done.
But they also have to stop the Lions, too, who are right now up in the scoreboard.
Yeah, nothing fancy here from the Lions, that's for sure. It's been pretty basic, but effective, at least when it's needed to be.
Again, most of these Lions players have not played college football, maybe a dozen of them. So they're out here playing with heart, enthusiasm, and passion, and so far so good.
And something went seriously astray there. Savon Stokes was the motion man. He started about 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Problem was he was about 10 yards past it when the ball was snapped. So flag is thrown. That one just didn't have much going for it at all. All right, they will call it a false start against the Lions. Yeah, there was all kinds of movement there, both offensively and defensively. They finally settled on a false start call, so that will make it 3rd and 20 now. Almost 3rd and 21. The Lions need to get to the Tampa Bay 12 for a first down. This time they will park Odom to Rippey's left, send 2 wide receivers right, 1 left. Now the motion man Stokes will go to the right as well. They'll throw underneath to Stokes, and he is dropped right at the 25-yard line. Ball is out, and will they call it a fumble, or were they going to say he's down? I think it's a fumble, and Tampa Bay may have recovered it.
Stokes had the ball. His momentum had definitely stopped. He wasn't going anywhere. But they call it a fumble.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was Arthur Hobbs or if it was Jordan Guest who came up with it. There was a big hit by both of them over there, and then, of course, the ensuing scrum. But both Hobbs and Guest were the defenders for the Tornadoes that made the play. So it's first down right at the 25 for Tampa Bay with a chance now to take the lead. Clock moving just over 7:40 to go here in the first half. Carnes will have his 3 receivers now to the left. Brown will come in motion to the right. Got a lot of space over here. Carnes going to keep it himself. 20, hurdles the tackler and goes down near the 15. Almost got out of the grip of Marquise Robinson there. But Robinson got just enough as Carnes tried to hurdle him. But a 9-yard pickup for the Tampa Bay quarterback. Played his high school football for Coach Joe Kinnan at Manatee. Was a 4-year starter. Started at quarterback as a freshman down at Manatee. Went 39-12.
A proud Hurricane.
I was going to say. Carnes will take a look now into the end zone. Touchdown! John L. Barnes on the reception, and the Tornadoes are back on top. Just ran by his man, Javrius Carr, and again, Carnes had it right on the money. A lot of time for Carnes to throw it again. And it was a simple throw. Gonna not quite have time to get that replay in as Maglia is out to try the extra point here. Workman is the holder.
Well, I told John L. Barnes I needed 2 touchdowns, and he's delivered in the first half. So,
a man of his word. Again, not a great snap. Workman under pressure, now going to throw, and it is caught. We have a flag down, and I think it is Hicks who made the reception. But
I wonder if they're going to call 77 illegal lineman downfield, possibly.
Well, let's see. They threw it in the vicinity of where the pass was caught. Justo Polanco, the guilty party. So they will try it again. We'll take a look at that replay. It was in a weird spot. It was down right near where the ball was caught by Hicks. And you can see, yeah, there's Polanco just riding his.
He was grabbing him before that ball was thrown.
Yeah, he was. So no doubt about the call, and so the extra point try will now come from the 20. Kick is on the way, and it is through and true. Nice job that time by Simaglia, and so the Tornadoes up by the unusual football score of 20-15 in what has turned into a back-and-forth affair, and that is the Tornadoes' first points since they opened with a couple of touchdowns in the first 8 minutes of the first quarter. But yeah, you give a guy like Carnes enough time to pick apart a defense, and he's too good and too experienced.
And he's proven he's got great legs. He had that good 9-yard scamper that took the ball down to 11 that led to the touchdown. Both quarterbacks have shown they can run. They don't mind running, and they both can put the zip on the ball.
Yeah, you got to be a dual threat in this league. There's no question that is a skill that almost every quarterback in arena football has, some better than others. Not that you really want to do it as a quarterback in any level of football, but yeah, in this game, sometimes taking off with your legs is the best option. And Carnes able to do it on that drive.
Yeah, Carnes and Barnes have definitely both improved their resumes tonight.
And that one is through the uprights. So score one for the Tornadoes on the kickoff.
One of the great rules about arena football is the ability to score in the kickoff.
And that will also mean that the Lions will be pinned back at their own 5-yard line to get the possession here.
John L. Barnes grew up in Fort Myers, had 3 years of college football at Duke, and then I think he finished off at Eastern Kentucky. And he's definitely built his resume up tonight, as has our quarterback, Carnes.
Rippey under center now again. Short little throw, and look out here. It deflected, incomplete.
Same play they used early on. That wasn't quite as bad as the first time.
Almost.
Yes.
It was a weird-looking play. They had everybody here on the near sideline, and ball ricochet. Never too much traffic to get through there for Rippey, who will step back now in the shotgun. Rippey going to go deep this time, and it is incomplete.
Savon Stokes definitely had his man beat, but the ball didn't get to him.
Arthur Hobbs on the defense there, looking to perhaps get the interception, but that ball was underthrown even for Hobbs, so it'll be a 3rd down now here for Georgia-Lina. 21-15 Tornadoes lead it. So we wind towards halftime here at the RP Funding Center in Lakeland on a Sunday night in Central Florida. Rippey again, he'll fire, has a completion out near the 10, and it's a short gain. Receiver was Corey Coppin, his first catch of the evening. But the Lions are going to have to go deep into the playbook here, 4th and about 7 from the 8-yard line. And this is a potential momentum turner as well.
Last time they went for it on 4th, it was snap over the head and not good.
Yeah, that set up the Tornado 3-yard touchdown drive. Rippey in trouble, going to step up, fire, incomplete. Coppin, the intended receiver, he was at the first down marker, but well defended by Ronnie Scott, and Ronnie Hardison in the neighborhood as well. So a good opportunity now for Tampa Bay to tack on to their 5-point lead. They will get it 1st and goal at the Lions 8.
So I think if you spoke to the Lions head coach Kay Gordon in advance, if you told him he'd be trailing by 6, 21-15 at the 3:39 mark of the second quarter, he probably would have taken it. Considering,
yeah, gladly, I think. But you worry about wearing down a little bit, and talent rising to the top. And we'll see if that's how things unfold here as we wind towards halftime and into the second half. All 3 receivers to the right this time. Now Barnes will be the motion man. He'll stay on the right side. They wanted to maybe look left. It is incomplete through the hands of Jonell Barnes, and that's a scary moment for Tampa Bay as we had a little bit of a jump ball in the Georgia-Lina secondary, but it fell to the turf harmlessly, fortunately for the Tornadoes.
Travis Beatty there almost had the tip drill interception. Slapped his hands in frustration. It could have been a pick 6.
I think Carnes actually wanted to maybe look at Josh Hicks out of the backfield. A little good for the Gooses, good for the Gander play. Hicks was sneaking out into that left flat with all 3 receivers to the right, but Carolina had it well defensed. Carnes again, he'll look into the end zone, and a nice defensive play. Nate Frazier at the last second, I think, just got a hand on it and knocked it away from Ramel Workman, who was working in the right corner of that end zone. Excellent defensive play by Frazier. Carnes had a lot of mustard on that one, and Frazier was able to close quickly. So 3rd and goal now from the 8.
Lions defense is holding strong.
Got to do it a couple more times here, and now we've got Workman about 15 yards downfield before the ball was ever snapped, so the procedure called against, or a false start technically, I guess they'll call it, against Tampa Bay, so that'll cost the Tornadoes 5. So after holding the Lions on downs deep in their own territory, the Tornadoes misfiring here on their first couple of opportunities, but maybe Carnes to Barnes 3 times as a charm, we'll see. Workman, the motion man this time. Low snap. Carnes digs it out. Has a lot of time. Fires. Incomplete. Ball was tipped.
But still catchable.
And still very catchable, but it did throw off the timing as Workman was wide open in the end zone, and one of the Lions defenders, and I can't tell you who, got a hand on it, but it still got to Workman, fluttered his way, but disrupted the timing, and Workman couldn't haul it in.
That frustration by Workman reminded me of what Jackie Smith did in the Super Bowl when he dropped that pass from Staubach back in the late 70s in the loss to the Steelers when he was wide open. And
yeah, that's frustrating because it was a good defensive play, but the offensive play was still there to be made. But, it's like a batter in baseball. You're expecting the fastball and you get the curve. And sometimes it just throws the timing off enough to disrupt the play, and that's what happened there. So we've got a officials timeout on the floor here with 1:03 to go. 4th down, kind of a big play here, Mike. I mean, it's just a 5-point game, and if Tampa Bay goes in here and gets a score and maybe takes a double-digit lead to the locker room, they'll feel a little better about themselves than they might otherwise. But again, for Georgia-Lina, if they make a stop here, they're going to feel very good going to the intermission as well.
And they've got time to go down and score a go-ahead touchdown.
They do. But even just holding Tampa Bay, when you give them a 1st and goal at the 8, would be a huge confidence boost for this defense. Frazier making a great defensive play. The play before that dropped by Workman. So we'll see what the Tampa Bay coaching staff has dialed up here with a 4th and goal from almost the 14. Now they're going to try the field goal is what they're going to try, or at least line up for it. Semeglia going to kick it from about the 21. Ball is down, kick is on the way, and the kick is no good. So the Lions do hold. The Tornadoes unable to convert after taking over on downs at the Georgia-Lina 8. And the Lions will go back in business here with 10 seconds to go. So they have maybe 1, possibly 2 shots at the end zone here.
Great defensive stand by the Lions.
I thought they said something about a untimed down. I'm not sure. We still have 10 seconds on the clock, so I'm not sure what exactly is the call here from the officials. They've got the ball set down at the 10-yard line. Oh, they're going to put a minute back on the game clock is what it is. So apparently they never stopped the clock after the missed kick. So there'll be a full minute. That makes sense. I wondered why there was just 10 seconds when I looked up there. But so that makes sense that we've got a full minute now for Carolina to try and drive 40 yards for a go-ahead touchdown. They will start from their own 10. Odom on Rippey's right hip here in the backfield. 2 wide receivers left, now 3 with the motion man Stokes. Option play to the right, and that one, Rippey going to be taken hard into the sideboards by Terry Johnson.
Actually looked like more of an option pass.
Well, I think he was thinking that, yeah.
But I think it was done behind the line of scrimmage, which is all legit.
Yeah. Pickup of almost 4 on the play. Rippey going to throw this time. Under some pressure, in trouble, and now just shovels it forward looking for Jalen Odom, so it won't be a grounding call as Odom was definitely right there, but it will stop the clock with just over 30 seconds to go. Tampa Bay would love to get one more possession here before intermission. They've got that quick strike offense capability, something the Lions I don't think really have unless they get a fortunate.
That was a very creative way by Rippey to avoid the sack, the underhanded forward pass.
Well, whatever works, right? So 3rd down and about 7 here. Motion again by Stokes. Rippey in trouble again, and again he's down. This time it is Bentley Easley who got through to make the sack.
Classic bull rush by Bentley Easley.
Clock will continue to run, and the Lions, I think, can just run it out here. And they would be just as well served to do that, as they are all the way back at their 5-yard line. They may take a long shot downfield here. The Lions and the officials talking things over. And, yeah, they are going to just let time expire. So that would make some sense, as the Lions don't want to make sure Tampa Bay gets another possession here and perhaps get that quick strike touchdown right before intermission. So, an entertaining first 30 minutes here at the RP Funding Center in Lakeland. But that's only the half of it. The more to come sign is up. It is the Tampa Bay Tornadoes 21 and the Georgia-Lina Lions 15, with Tampa Bay scoring the first 2 touchdowns of the game, and then Georgia-Lina reeling off 15 unanswered points to take a 15-13 lead before that last touchdown to Barnes. And so Barnes to Carnes with 2 touchdowns, 2 touchdown throws from Breon Carnes to John L. Barnes, and a rushing touchdown by Josh Hicks, accounting for all the scoring in that first 15 minutes for the Tampa Bay Tornadoes. Their second game of the season, and we are now ready to talk with the head coach down to the field, and Gabrielle Shirley.
All right, I'm here with the head coach of the Tampa Bay Tornadoes. Coach, you have the 6-point lead, but you had a 13-0 lead, and then they scored 15 unanswered points. How frustrating has this half been?
It's very frustrating because, you know, we teach our guys exactly what they need to do in the midst of the game in every situation. But at the same time, you know, our linebacker just didn't guard the back when he was supposed to, and they were able to get 2 big plays off that and was able to score off of it.
What can we do differently in this second half to lengthen this lead?
Well, what we can do is our guys need to come and play. You know, I think even though we had a good week of practice, they were kind of like a day school, but at the same time, I think this right here was a good eye-opener for them.
And what's your message to them in the locker room?
Oh, I can't even say on radio.
All right, we'll let you get to them. Thank you so much for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, that was the head coach of the Tampa Bay Tornadoes. We're going to break. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, halftime. 21 Tornadoes, 15 Lions. Mike, we had everything in that first half. We had a touchdown pass, we had a touchdown run, a safety, a field goal, and an uno. What else can we get?
We had botched snaps, we had missed kicks. The game started great for the Tornadoes. Took an early 13-0 lead. That woke up the opposition. Then it became ball game.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They got up 13-0 and they exhaled, and all of a sudden the Lions come back, tie the game, take the lead at 15. But what you saw happen is, I think that was a wake-up call for the Tornadoes.
Without a doubt. I think the bus legs of the Lions, they got over that. And it was an exciting first half. And in some respects, Tornadoes were lucky not to be trailing.
Absolutely. And when you look at what's happening so far, the defense really turned this thing around because they got the turnover, and then we went from there.
Yeah. I think one of the big stories in the first half was the what I call the Carnes to Barnes connection. 2 touchdown passes, and of course Josh Hicks had that nice touchdown run early on. So exciting football, a little different than last week for the Tornadoes.
Yeah, we're going to have some highlights here, folks, in a second to show you exactly what's going on. But when you look at what's happening in this game, take note of what the Tornadoes are doing on defense. They are switching up. We call it a sky or a cloud crawl. And you see the safety in the corner inverting, giving a lot of trouble to the quarterback for the Lions.
Yeah. The going in, one of the strengths of the Lions was their front 5. Well, I think the Tornadoes' front 5 showed up as well tonight, putting great pressure on the quarterback, Rippey. They've had 2 passes to their left that really led to touchdown passes, but other than those 2 big plays, it's been a fairly quiet night for the opposition.
Okay, let's go to the highlights of the first half. Let's see what happened here. I got nothing. Hey, yeah, we just look at what's happening out here. You got to look at these highlights. You got to enjoy arena football, right? Just anything can happen.
This is a game played with emotion and passion.
Here we go.
Yep. That was the pass interference play that actually led to Josh Hicks on the touchdown run.
Yeah, and this is going to be the first score by the Tornadoes. Again, nothing. And if we can get the clock operator to work something right, we'd be fine. He has more trouble than anybody else. Yeah. But there's your first touchdown.
Yeah. Carnes to Barnes.
Yeah, exactly. A quick crossing route. 6-0, missed the extra point, but here's the run.
There's the Josh Hicks run.
Hicks with the 3-4 yard run. And now it's 13-0, Mike.
And it looks like it's going to be a long night for the Lions, but that's not the case.
And the Lions came back. They got a quick strike here. Oh, look at what happened. And we got a block in the back. That's what brought this one back.
Again, great defensive pressure by the Tornadoes. Here's that flare out to the left.
Yeah, this was a swing pass up the sideline, gets him inside the 10-yard line. And then all of a sudden, this big mammoth running back.
He's Refrigerator Perry 2. That was Germany with the ball. He was given the ball going up the middle, ran into a wall, went to his right, found pay dirt.
Yeah, one thing we've seen differently, Mike, from this game than the first game, we're seeing some sacks out of the Lions. And again, Breon Carnes is getting a little bit rattled back there.
Well, I think the Lions have been sick and tired of playing against one another. They wanted to tackle a member of the opposition, see a different jersey, and their defense has played fairly well tonight, though that Carnes to Barnes connection, which has been twice, has been powerful.
Yeah, and you know what? The guys on the other side in the other color jersey, they're playing. And all of a sudden, when you let a team back in the game, they think they can win. Now, look what's happening. The Tornadoes are in a dogfight. All right.
Again, nice touchdown pass there.
That's the one that got called back for motion. Yeah.
It was a highlight, but it wasn't a scoring highlight.
Yeah. Then they had a couple that they just.
That's Workman there, who had a ball hit his hands, fell to the ground, hit his hands again.
Yeah, here's the safety. Yeah, blocked field goal. And
we don't see too many safeties, but we saw one tonight.
Mike, we've seen everything. We've seen a safety.
And we still have another 30 minutes to go.
Yeah, exactly. And we got 30 more minutes. And think about it, the Lions get the ball to start the second half. Touchdown. And all of a sudden, they back in the ball game.
Right. Here's Carnes. and he finds Barnes. Touchdown number 2.
And here comes the extra point.
This is actually the botched extra point, where it's actually a successful conversion call back because of holding. So again, what you said earlier, we've seen literally everything you see in the season in the first 30 minutes. So
right.
Next 30 minutes should be exciting.
Yeah, it was the good, the bad, and the ugly. It was a great first half. And you know what? What we're looking at here is pretty much first half football, first game, and we're going to go to a break here shortly, and then we've got a interview with the quarterback, Breon Carnes, that I did early in the week. So let's go to the break here, and we'll come back with my interview with Breon Carnes. Stay tuned. All right, Leo Haggerty down here on the sidelines with Mike May. Mike, your first game. What do you think so far?
So far, so good. It's such a good game. I want to come back. Whether I'm on the broadcast or not, I'll be up in the stands.
One surprising thing, the Tornadoes decided to take the football instead of defer. That was an interesting strategy, wasn't it?
Well, I think that they had such a great week last week, scoring 48 points. The beat goes on, and that appears to be the strength of the Tornadoes. So why not put the ball in the hands of your top player, Carnes? He had a great first half, but the Lions showed up as well, and they started the ball with the second half.
Yeah, and when you look at what's happening, when the Tornadoes decided to take the ball, okay, you better score, because in arena football, you get down a touchdown, now you have to score. And again, And what do you think about what's going to happen second half?
We're going to find out shortly. I think we're going to turn it over to. We'll take a break.
Okay, we're done.
All right. We'll be back with second half action soon.
All right, I'm here with the head coach of the Georgia Lions, Kay Gordon. Kay, you guys, this game's been going back and forth. What was your message to the team in the locker room?
Just execute. We've had some drop passes, we've had some fumbles, missed assignments on defense. We just got to execute. That's how you win games. Simple execution.
But to make it clear, this is your first game. So for the first time out, your team's not playing too bad. What are your thoughts on what you're seeing just in one half of football?
I definitely have a lot to build on. I see some players that I definitely want to push forward, and I see some players that I need to work a little bit more. But as far as for the first game this season, I'm quite happy with what I got.
And you said he's not much of a speech guy, but in the locker room you said a few words. What did you tell your players, hey, this is what we need to do to beat this team?
It was simple. They called us down here because we were supposed to be an easy win. I saw fans saying they were going to beat us by 99. say no more. I had nothing else to say.
Look at that. Man, a few words right here. I am going to send it back to the booth. Thank you so much. Good luck.
News Channel 8 in Tampa, doing a great job on the sidelines for the Tornadoes here in 2021. And interesting to hear from both coaches. One coach not too happy. One coach said, hey, the fans have kind of inspired his side to come out and play well in that first 15 minutes. And I think it's pretty clear that the Tornadoes have the talent advantage, Mike, to be perfectly honest about it. But at 21-15, it's still very much a ball game, and the Lions believe they can win this.
You cannot measure the heart and the passion of the Lions. They had a rough beginning, but once they got through that first series, they woke up and played pretty well. And this is not a pushover team.
No, it's not. And I don't know how much we knew about the Georgia-Lina Lions coming in. Not a whole lot. We admitted that at the top, and they have acquitted themselves very well here so far. And they will get the opening kickoff here to start the third quarter. The other thing we've certainly learned is the Lions really don't have a great vertical game. They're not going to push it down the field in a big hurry. Tampa Bay has that big vertical game, that quick strike ability, and that might make a difference here in the second half.
Of course, the Lions have really had two great plays, basically the same play, going up the left side, and both led to one was a touchdown pass, one led to a touchdown. So with the exception of those two plays, it would be a sizable lead for the Tornadoes right now.
Yeah, but they all count, as they say, and those two plays were biggies, those reverse kind of screens where they overloaded one side of the field and then threw back against the grain, the defense, and neither time Tampa Bay picked that up. And Coach Stevie mentioned that in his halftime interview with Gabrielle Shirley, that some miscommunications and some mistakes on defense really hurt Tampa Bay, and that was evident especially in those two plays. So we are ready to go now with the kickoff here for the third quarter. So we'll see what the Lions can do with an opening possession here, as it'll be their running back Jalen Odom who is deep, and this one I was going to say we've already seen one pointer on the kickoff. Looked like that might have been a second on its way, but it caught a piece of drape hanging from the ceiling here at the RP Funding Center. So it'll be Georgia-Lina football out at the 20-yard line here. Touchback by Rule at the RP Funding Center.
It hit a low-hanging drape.
Yeah. And there's a whole series of them on the ceiling, and there's only like one that is hanging particularly low, and of course that's the one it hit. So not a little bit of a tough luck start here for Tampa Bay. Rippey going to go under center to start the second half. Going to throw it on the near sideline, has a short completion and turned into a little bit bigger gain by Savon Stokes, who fights his way across the 25-yard line. So that is another heart and hustle play there for the Lions. Just a little flip to the wide receiver, and Stokes did all the hard work.
Actually looked like a lateral pass.
Almost, yeah.
It
might have almost been
convinced.
A fumble had it not been complete. I don't know how they would have ruled it, but Stokes did a nice job fighting for 7 yards. That was all Stokes.
If you look to the left side completely open, are they going to do a similar play where they're running it?
Well, Odom will reverse course on his feet inside the 20 and down inside the 15 for a Lions first down. Nice work again. A lot of good individual effort that time by Jalen Odom. Rashard Simmons in to make the stop. Here's the replay. But not before a Lions first down at the Tampa Bay 14. Ripley to look. Drifts to his right, now to his left, fumbles the football, and Tampa Bay gets it back. Kwanzi Jackson with the strip and the fumble recovery for Tampa Bay, and the Tornadoes with a potential early momentum turner here in the third quarter. First down for the Tornadoes at their own 18. Let's see if they might take a deep shot right away to capitalize on that momentum swing.
Of course, when right-handed quarterbacks drift to their left, great things don't always happen. Often bad things happen because they're throwing against their body. In this case, it was a turnover fumble.
Yeah, and the pursuit is coming from where the ball is located, as you pointed out, and that's exactly what happened. So this is maybe the first time Carnes has been under center all game, and he will do a little delay handoff, and that fools absolutely no one. Hicks was taken down for a big loss. Well, maybe the fact that Carnes was under center there was a little tip-off to the Lions' defense that something was different, and it was a handoff to Hicks, and he loses about 6.
You know, we talk about in this league people trying to make a difference, and we focus so much on offensive players, but when a defensive player makes a bull rush like that, that's going to get the attention of a scout one day.
Yeah,
so.
Great point. This is not a league where defenders often get, or a sport really, where defenders often get a lot of notoriety. Now Carnes is back in the shotgun. Brown, the motion man. Carnes steps up. He's going to look deep, looking for Brown, and it's a touchdown! Tornadoes! Ricardo Brown, the motion man, beats Nate Frazier deep down the left sideline. Juggled it for just a half a second, but hangs on. And Tampa indeed turns the turnover into points, and they lead it now by 12. Thought they might take a deep shot, thought they might do it on their first play, but they did on their second. And Brown, again, a very nicely thrown ball by Carnes, right on the money. And Frazier was there. It just was out of Frazier's reach. We'll take a look at a replay in just a moment as Samaglia on for the extra point try, and that one is no good. So Samaglia misses his second. Here's the replay. We'll see Brown be the motion man here, Mike, and Carnes had enough time to let that play develop and find him deep in the left corner of the end zone. Just a nice little step up from the pass rush, and Frazier, who had a great defensive play to knock away a would-be touchdown pass in the first half, just out of his range, and that was right exactly where that pass needed to be by Breon Carnes.
Tremendous concentration by Ricardo Brown, and looked like the ball was, well, if nothing else, he had to negotiate Frazier's hand, which was in the way. The ball was not exactly a perfect spiral. He's sort of backpedaling backwards.
Knowing that the wall is coming up.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot going on there. You're 100% right.
There's no warning track in arena football.
Exactly. And Nate Frazier's been very impressive. You talk about defenders who don't get a lot of notoriety and might not get a lot of attention, but Frazier has been, despite giving up that touchdown pass, he was just a couple inches away from making another very good play there.
12-point lead for the Tornadoes.
Yeah, getting to the stage perhaps where the Lions aren't gonna have to go possession for possession here. They're not gonna be able to give up many possessions without points here in the second half and potentially stay in this thing. We'll see. We've underestimated them before, so probably should not make that mistake again here in the second half. But as we said, Tampa Bay has that big play, big quick strike ability, and the Lions have to really scrap and fight for pretty much everything they've gotten here tonight. They have had a couple of big plays on passes that didn't travel more than 3 or 4 yards, but we'll see what Coach K. Gordon might have in the playbook here in the second half.
Of course, the Lions were down 13-0 early on. They're only down 12 now.
Yeah, they were.
They came back.
They were, and much to their credit. So
we'll see if history repeats itself.
But kind of feel like they need a touchdown here just to keep within some spitting distance. Motion man is Stokes. Again, they overload the left side. They throw back to the right side, and that is one of the touchdown makers. Normally an offensive lineman, Tremaine Germany. And Tremaine couldn't hang on for a big play here early on in his second attempt, second spotlight on offense. Kind of fun for a lineman to get involved like that.
When I saw Germany go to his right, I said, is this a tackle-eligible type play? And yes, it was.
It was. This time, 2 wide outs right, 1 left. Odom the up back. Now they'll again bring the motion man to the near side and overload the right-hand side. Ripley will throw back the other way again, and it's a completion. Coppin with it at the 24 and tries to fight ahead to the 25, and taken down heavy there, and a little bit of extracurricular after the play. But good heavy tackle in there by a couple of Tornadoes. Terry Johnson in there, down to the sidelines. Gabrielle Shirley with an update.
All right, I am here with Ricardo Brown. He just scored a touchdown, and you guys may recall he scored another one in this game, but it was called back because of a flag. So how sweet was this one?
It was all love. Hey, big time player made big time play. That's all I can say. I'm just thankful for the Lord that's still allowed to give me another chance to come back with it.
He is a big time playmaker. What does this team need to do to keep this lead?
Oh, we got to keep our head. We got to play us. We playing at their level right now. Other than that, we Tornado, baby. We come back. We destroy. That's all we do.
I cut him off there. Hey, you're the best. Good luck. All right, guys, I'll send it back to you in the booth.
Gabrielle Shirley on the sidelines from WFLA. Thanks for the update with Ricardo Brown. Yeah, forgot he actually had that one long touchdown called back on a penalty in the first half. And that really, as we said, this team can go vertical in a hurry, and that is a big advantage when your opponent really doesn't have that ability. I mean, Rippey's got athleticism, but he does not have a particularly strong arm, nowhere near the arm that Breon Carnes has, for example. So you can kind of only get so far on guile and smarts and athleticism, and they'll need to come up with something here now as they have a 4th down at their own 24.
They don't need to score a touchdown off this play, just get a first down.
Yep, need to move the sticks here. And as we talked about much earlier in the broadcast, slowing the game down is not such a bad strategy if you're the Lions, because you know you're not going to score a lot of quick touchdowns. So grinding it out when you have it is not the worst thing. And we've got motion and offsides, free play here. Rippey going to throw it. I think he might have been across the line of scrimmage. He was. And so now there are 2 flags down, and that may be a mistake, because that may be offsetting penalties here.
The game
because the play continued. They did not blow the play dead. And so the initial foul was clearly offsides as Kwanzi Jackson mistimed the jump, or the snap.
Defense, offsides at the snap. Offense, illegal forward pass. Those fouls, offset, replay 4th down.
Yeah, that's a break for Tampa Bay, because it would have been 4th and about 2. And instead it'll stay about 4th and a long 6, almost 7 now.
Rippey had some yardage. It looked like everyone just slowed down to a stop, if not a
crawl.
I
think people were the players were expecting a whistle, unabated to the quarterback, and they let the play unfold. And unfortunately for Rippey, he was across the line of scrimmage when he threw it. There was no question about it. And that resulted in the offsetting penalties. So Rippey on 4th down here. Going to stand in the pocket, throws, and incomplete. Looking for Corey Coppin, and so Tampa Bay will take possession. Coppin on the far side was open and was one of Rippey's better thrown balls. It just was a little high. But nonetheless, the Tornadoes defense holds, and
the situation with Rippey was so odd. It's when they had the offside, even he appeared to be a little bit
yeah, I think everyone kind of expected the play to get blown dead when it wasn't. He kind of just took off, and then all of a sudden saw that he had a couple of guys downfield that were basically beyond the sticks, open for a first down, and kind of lost track where he was across the line of scrimmage, and ended up really hurting the Lions there. Inadvertently. I mean, hard to really blame Rippey, but it was kind of an unusual set of circumstances that resulted in the 4th and long again. So Carnes back to throw. He'll look deep again, has a man, and this time has a little bit too much mustard on it as Ricardo Brown, again the intended receiver, wanted to flag down there in the end zone on Demetrius Williams, but no flag was forthcoming.
I think Brown's got his future as an official. He's got great ability to indicate how you would throw a flag.
Yeah, he definitely wanted one there, but Carnes on the run just airmailed that one. So 2nd and 10 from the Lions 24.
I think either the ball was considered not catchable or the infraction was not punishable.
Yeah, there was contact, but didn't look like it was too severe, so good non-call, I would say. Carnes steps in the pocket, fires over the middle, has the completion. It's Workman, and Workman under tackle down at the 13-yard line.
Workman delighted to catch a pass after a couple of miscues in the first half.
Workman is a veteran of this game, has been around for a number of years, has played in the AFL with the Orlando Predators and the Arizona Rattlers. Also some more regional arena football with the High Point Grizzlies, Peach State Cats. Played in Wenatchee Valley with the Skyhawks. And I got to tell you, I have no idea where Wenatchee Valley is.
It's not in
Sounds
Florida.
like it's out west.
Yes.
But he has been around in the indoor circuit, but stops with the Predators and Rattlers, among others. Plenty of time. Here's a throw underneath to Barnes. He dives, and it is a touchdown. Touchdown, Tornadoes.
Carnes to Barnes again for the 3rd time tonight.
John L. Barnes with the connection, and give credit to the O-line that time for Tampa Bay. Justo Polanco and the others up front doing a great job, giving Carnes all kinds of time. That's as much time as Carnes has had. Bentley easily among the linemen up there as well. So Simaglia will try the extra point here. It's been an adventure with snaps, misses. He's also converted one, and he misses a second and a third. So score will stay at 33-15. Can see all the time here that Carnes had to finally find Brown. I mean, he just stood back there and was completely uncontested, and Barnes was able to shake free down near the goal line, and Carnes was able to find him pretty easily that time. But that was
great time given by the offensive line.
Yeah, I was just going to say that was all about the offensive line right there. You don't see that much time in arena football very often. You know, in outdoor football, you're happy if you get 3 or 4 seconds. In the arena game, you know, 2.5 is pretty much a luxury, and he had good 4, 5, 6 seconds back there to survey the field and pick out his receiver, and Barnes has his 3rd of the evening. 33-15 Tornadoes. So the Lions really in need of a good possession here now.
I don't want to say an 18-point lead is insurmountable, but it's significant.
Definitely not, and that one's going to go into the netting or the drapes on top and stay there. I hope they have a second football because that one disappeared. They do, I'm happy to report. So that'll be a souvenir for one of the workers here at the RP Funding Center someday when it comes down, I guess.
Their next big event when they need curtains, they'll have a football.
Georgia-Lina will start at the 20. As we said, they ripped off 15 unanswered points after Tampa Bay had taken a 2-touchdown lead very early. If you just joined us, it was a 6-point game at intermission. Here's a throw underneath, incomplete. The intended receiver, Savon Stokes, couldn't hang out near the midfield line.
Incomplete pass intended for Stokes.
He was open on the quick slant.
I think the strength and superiority of the Tornadoes is beginning to just sort of make
wear
its
down.
presence. It is.
Yeah,
yes.
wear down the Lions. You get that sense maybe. We'll see. Touchdown, though, could change things in a hurry. Here's a catch to Stokes, who's tackled rather quickly and abruptly. Simmons and Johnson
Tackled by Rashard Simmons.
combining for the stop. Simmons, first one there. Pick up on the play of about 5, so call it third and a long 5, almost 6 now from the 24. 2 wideouts right, 1 to the left.
3rd and 6.
See if maybe they look for Odom underneath here. Rippey throws to the near sideline, complete to Levante Jackson. Jackson stops short of a first down by a couple of yards, so the Lions will have a manageable 4th down here to the sidelines. WFLA's Gabrielle Shirley, take it away.
I just talked to John L. Barnes. He has 3 touchdowns in this game for anyone who's counting. And I asked him, hey, when's the last time you had 3 touchdowns in one football game? He, reflected and he said, it must have been back in high school. He, of course, is from Florida, the Fort Myers area. He graduated from Dunbar High School, and that is the last time he was lighting it up like this. He was pretty happy, all smiles down here on the bench.
Well, he promised us at least 2, and Odom on the handoff is not going to make the first down. It was 4th and 2, and the Lions tried just simply a handoff up the middle, and way too much traffic in there. Bentley easily, among others, clogging up the running lane, and Odom had nowhere to run. So the Tornadoes will take it over 1st and 10 on their own 25.
Is this a sign that we're going to see potentially a 4th touchdown from Barnes? Having just had the interview, I think it's timely.
Could certainly be.
Timely interview, timely turnover, quick strike, why not?
3-year letterman at Dunbar High School, as Gabrielle said. Had a record of 22-11 there when he was a starter. Caught 24 passes and 8 touchdowns in his senior season. Here's a throw to the end zone, incomplete. Flag is down, so this may be a hold back in the offensive backfield against the Tornadoes. We'll see.
So Ricardo Brown was your target there, looking for touchdown number 2.
It is holding against the offense. His better year back at Dunbar for Barnes was actually his junior season when he had 38 catches for 763 yards and 10 touchdowns. Was a 3-sport letter winner at Dunbar, was also a pretty good basketball player and track and field as well. And as we mentioned, had some quality games at Duke. His first 2 years with the Blue Devils had 38 catches and 454 yards for the David Cutcliffe Dukies. There's a bobble at center. Karn's able to pick it up, fires, and it's incomplete. Lane Phillips was actually the man that had the best opportunity to catch that. Ricardo Brown was in the neighborhood in the intended receiver, but that play didn't have much of a chance right from the get-go. As we have an official's timeout on the field here in the final minute.
Great athleticism by Carnes, how he rallied, didn't panic, used his athleticism to pick up the ball and actually stabilize his feet and find a receiver and just couldn't.
Almost made nothing out of something, which again is a skill in the arena game, which is so important, and thought he might even take a deeper shot downfield. When you get those broken plays, sometimes defensive backs kind of lose track of where their men have gone, and Carnes wasn't able to really find anybody that was particularly wide open, and as we said, Phillips stepped in front of it anyway, so it'll bring up a 2nd and long now for the Tornadoes here in the final minute of the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 20, as a matter of fact, after that holding penalty.
when I saw Carnes scoop up that ball, I was expecting the length of the field throw. It's a marvelous time to showcase your arm strength.
I kind of thought that might be the case. But, again, we've to give credit where credit is due, these defensive backs for the Lions have played a pretty good game here and not given Carnes as many targets as it might seem. 2 wideouts left, 1 to the right. See if the Tornadoes send anybody in motion. They do. It's Workman. And now we have a early start. And that will be 5 yards again against the Tornadoes in the wrong direction. Back to their own 10 now. 2nd and half of Polk County.
And then some.
Yeah, you might even throw in half of Hillsboro. They need to get to the Georgia-Lina 15 for a first down.
I think John L. Barnes and Ricardo Brown are going, that's fine, just throw it my way.
I was going to say, that's just one good throw for Breon Carnes. Again, Workman, the man in motion. Carnes has time, fires over the middle, has a man complete. It's Workman at the 20, trying to dance away in some traffic, still on his feet, all the way back to the 15, still on his feet, back to the 10, where he's tackled. He ended up actually losing about 15 yards. Reuben Walker was the man who finally brought him down. And what looked to be a big gain turned out to be a rather short one and an unusual end of the third quarter, Mike May.
That is not exactly the kind of reception he wants to put on his highlight reel. Great reception, good route running until he caught the ball.
Yeah, and give, again, credit to the Lions defense. They kept him contained, kept pushing him back, and just never let him escape despite his efforts. And so what looked to be would have brought up a very manageable third down situation will now bring up still very long 3rd and a bunch as they mark it all the way back to the 10-yard line. So basically there was almost no gain on that play as it turned out.
There was a great deal of entertainment to the run.
So there was a pass of about 15 or 20 yards, a run of about 15 or 20 yards, and there was no gain on the play. Welcome to Arena Football, everyone. So it'll be 3rd and a bunch. 3rd and 25 to be exact. Still need to make it to the Georgia-Lina 15.
That was a very workmanlike, negative, positive play. There was positive yardage.
There was a lot, yeah.
But it just ended up not being as much as it could have been, should have been, would have been.
Yeah, after the first couple of misses, I mean, I guess you can't blame Workman for trying to still create something, but it just kept getting worse and worse. The hole kept getting deeper as he dug. So 3rd and long here. Carnes, though, he can get it in one big completion. That one is through the hands of John Banks. First time I think we've seen Banks as a target here this evening. And talk about your 98-mile-an-hour fastballs. That was a real can of gas from Carnes. And it'll bring up a 4th down. That's a tough one for Banks in his first target of the evening. So Carnes will head to the bench, and they may leave it up to the leg here of Zach Samaglia, who we have seen put it through the uprights on a kickoff, so we certainly know he has the range. Lions looking to extend their lead to 21 if Samaglia can convert here. This is definitely long distance and a little dangerous because obviously Georgia-Lina would have a very good drive start if there is a miss. Low snap, kick is on the way, and that's not going to make it. And I think it's a live ball. It is. And Javarius Carr didn't realize it at first. Now he's down the right sideline, still on his feet, into Tampa Bay territory, cuts back to his right, and he's going to score.
Coast-to-coast touchdown.
And a late flag is out, so we'll see if it stands. There's a flag down inside the 5-yard line, so I don't know if there was a block in the back perhaps there that's going to bring it back. Boy, what a weird play, because Carr, as we mentioned, for Georgia-Lina, this is their very first indoor game this year, and for a lot of these guys, their very first indoor game probably ever. So Carr did not realize that was a live ball, finally picked it up and weaved his way through the Tampa Bay defense and scored, but a flag is down, so we'll see what the call is.
The runner was down at the half-yard line after the play. Personal foul, 97, unnecessary roughness, 10-yard penalty, and be first and 10, Georgia-Lina.
All right, so apparently Carr did not break the plane. Looked like he scooted in there on the right side, right corner of the end zone, but he was down at the half-yard line, and then the dead ball penalty. So it's still a very good drive start for the Lions at the Tampa Bay 11, but no points. So we'll see as Rippey now goes under center here. Odom to his right. Quick throw and an incompletion. He and Savon Stokes not quite on the same page there, I don't think. Here's that replay, and Carr's like, hey, what am I supposed to do? Oh, yeah, guess I should pick it up. Avoided a tackle, avoided this. I mean, he basically ran through and around the entire Tampa Bay defense. Finally cut it back to his right and looked like he had gotten in, but they marked him down at the half-yard line, and then we didn't get a chance to see the unnecessary roughness penalty called after the play was over. So that's why it cost the Lions 10. Rippey now from the shotgun will fire it, and it's intercepted. Boy, there's a big play defensively for the Tornadoes. That is Simmons, Rashard Simmons, who's had a very nice defensive night for the Tornadoes, who celebrate on the near sideline with a little dance and a little huddle. Bentley easily with a little extra celebration time there. And that's a big play as the Lions perhaps had a chance to climb back in and looked like they had a touchdown. That was taken off the board, and then the penalty, and now the turnover. So with 12 minutes to go here in the fourth, the Tornadoes with an opportunity here to really put some distance between themselves and the Lions.
One comment about Carr's return. I think our camera crew deserves a great pat on the back for keeping up with the play and doing it rather well. That was not exactly in our pregame script. We didn't expect that.
Mike is the best in the business here. Here's a toss to Hicks, who's looking for a little running room up the left side. And finally whacked into the sideboards after a decent gate. To Sean Deal with the stop after a pickup of 9, so second and short here. Good chance perhaps for Carnes to take a deep shot and really put the clincher on this one against a very game Georgia-Lina Lions team.
Had the Lions scored that touchdown, it would have been 33-22 probably. You'd be 11
still
points
a ball
behind.
Game. Yeah, still a ball game. As I said, the biggest problem for the Lions right now is they're just not a big play offense. So to score a lot and quickly, which can happen in this game, is going to be difficult as the handoff once again goes to Josh Hicks, who busts off left tackle for about 3. And that will move the sticks and give the Tornadoes another first down.
I think the Tornadoes are willing to, and that may be the first time all night we've seen 2 consecutive runs, especially by 2 different players, and I think they're willing to milk the clock and just get out of here.
Well, we know Coach Stevie Thomas talked, as Gabrielle Shirley had mentioned, wanting to establish a little more of a run tonight if they could, and the Lions, of course, hanging around maybe didn't make that as possible as the Tornadoes would have liked, but Hicks, as you said, with carries on each of the last 2 possessions, and it's kind of a run formation now, but the Tornadoes have taken too much time. Delay of game is called. So that'll cost 5 and might take the run option off the table here. We'll see. Stepped back to the 15-yard line now. .9:49 to go. Clock running here in the fourth quarter. Tampa Bay Tornadoes looking to go up 2-0 on the season. And again, flags are down and procedure will be called against Tampa Bay as Ricardo Brown was about 15 or 20 yards downfield when the ball was snapped. So Tampa Bay, its own worst enemy here all of a sudden.
He was trying to plead his case, and that was a tough one to defend.
Yeah, that was.
We could tell from up here.
There's a lot of good defense attorneys around Tampa. I'm not sure anyone could have got the Tornadoes out of that one. So it'll now be 1st and 20, all the way back at the 10.
Well, Ricardo Brown's caught 2 touchdown passes tonight. One was official, one was unofficial.
Right.
And I think he wants to try to keep up with John L. Barnes, who's got 3 himself. So,
well, it's been a deadly combination, but Carnes will need something deep here on 1st and 20. Motion man is Barnes. Barnes open down the middle of the field, wide open, touchdown! Tornadoes! His 4th, matching his uniform number, John L. Barnes. Boy, talk about seeing that one develop. The middle of the field just parted like the Red Sea. Carnes saw Barnes wide open and laid it right in there.
Wonderful pass, wonderful route, great concentration on the catch. He said earlier that it may have been since high school last time he had 3 touchdowns. Has he ever had 4?
Probably not.
I wonder if Gabrielle asked that question.
So Barnes with his 4th of the night.
Still 8:47 to go.
Obviously some kind of a defensive miscue there for the Lions because there wasn't a defender within literally 10 or 15 yards of John L. Barnes. Here's the extra point try, and that one is no good, I don't believe. Yeah, it was too low. Let's take a look at the replay, and you can just see how wide open Barnes gets here. It was a 1st and 20, and you would have thought the Lions would have been looking a little bit downfield. Barnes in motion, and Carnes just waits, and there just isn't anybody in the picture. It was the closest man there is Javrius Carr, but he was obviously expecting some help at some point because he kind of threw it into second gear out near the midfield stripe, and Barnes just ran right by him. So it is a 39-15 lead now for Tampa Bay. Let's head down to the sidelines one more time. It's WFLA's Gabrielle Shirley. Gabrielle.
Well, John L. Barnes, he has that 4th touchdown. Guys, I hear you up there. I'm going to ask him specifically if he has ever scored 4 touchdowns in a high school football game. I will get to that. But I did also talk to Rashard Simmons, big number 18. He made that interception. He leapt up in the air for that ball, but then he had to come down with it. And I said, how did you do it? I always want to know what is going through the mind of an athlete in these big moments. And he said it was all about concentration. That is how I held onto the football. And I asked him what his teammates said about it too. And he said they were all yelling, just catch it. I'll send it back to you.
A big man making a big play at a big moment. And it wasn't easy. That's, you're jumping. You're a big guy. He's probably, 6'3", 6'4", and very well built and not used to catching footballs. So it kind of hits you unexpectedly, and all of a sudden you got to, as Gabrielle said, concentrate, come down with the football, and Simmons was able to do just that. So it is a touchback on the kickback. Gabrielle, you might want to ask him about his days in Pop Warner football, because I'm sure he probably never did it at Manatee, but maybe as a 7 or 8 year old in the Pop Warner leagues he was able to do that. I don't know, but 4 touchdown night is a big night for anybody in arena football, as another good defensive play is made, this time by Kwanzi Jackson.
I'm sure John L. has scored 4 touchdowns in a backyard pickup sandlot game.
Maybe. I had 4 hits once in a wiffle ball game. That's about the best I could do when the apple tree was home plate, but did not have 4 touchdowns. in a football game. Hockey was my sport growing up. I grew up north, so I was a goaltender.
And you still have your teeth?
I do.
You must have been good.
Here's a throw from Rippey and almost intercepted. It's Jackson again who makes the good defensive play. That's exactly what we were talking about. The big guys actually jump, and it hits him kind of like in the chest or the midsection. And Kwanzi Jackson not able to hang on. That would have been even a better interception than the one Simmons just made.
Looked like he threw his arms up trying to deflect or just make the pass difficult. It actually went right to him. It's like he wasn't expecting to catch it. He was expecting to just maybe deflect it, swat it down, or do something like that.
So the Lions face a 3rd and 10 here and a deficit of 24 with just over 7 minutes to play. They have not scored since reeling off those 15 points in the first half to take that surprising lead. Rippey to throw, fires it, and it's almost picked off again. This time it's Ronnie Hardison who stepped in front of the intended receiver. So the Lions will be facing a 4th and 10 from their own 20. As we said, the Lions getting downfield and getting big chunk plays is not their specialty yet. It may come in time as they play additional games here this season, but out of the gate for their first ever performance of the 2021 season, as Coach Kay Gordon said at halftime in his interview with Gabrielle Shirley, a lot to be liked and a lot to work on still. Here's a throw and an incompletion. Boy, wide open was Savon Stokes. That was Rippey's best throw of the game. It hit Stokes right in the face mask. And Stokes, I think, is actually hurt.
Threw his hands and hit the face mask.
Yeah, and he hobbles off the field. I think he may have hurt himself when he pivoted, and that's probably why he didn't catch it, because, I mean, that was perfectly thrown in the perfect spot. And in Stokes' defense, he is in a lot of pain on the Georgia-Lina bench, hopping and hobbling to the sideline. So I think he may have popped something there or twisted something there when he made the stop and turn. And Rippey had it right there on the numbers, and Stokes was open for a first down. But instead, the Tornadoes will take it over now on their own 20 and look to pad the stats here a little now with just over 5 minutes to go. John Banks is still in there at receiver. He'll come to the right side, as will the touchdown maker, Janelle Barnes. Now Banks will switch over to the left side and become the motion man. Carnes will take a look, still looks, fires underneath. Workman has it and driven to the sideline at the 6-yard line. Travis Beatty Jr. making the stop there. Workman, nice job working himself across the field from that slot position on the right. And again, that offensive line doing a nice job creating lots of time, not much of a rush or penetration there at all by the Lions defensive front. So it's 1st and goal at the 6.
All credit to Workman. You actually saw his body language actually go up the field a little bit. He got tackled, but he was going in the right direction.
Under center this time is Carnes. He'll give it on a little delay to Hicks, who will head to the near sideline, stop briefly, still on his feet, fights in for the touchdown. Well earned by Josh Hicks.
The pride of Rutgers University.
Well, you can see why he did so many good things for the Scarlet Knights. That was a heart and hustle touchdown fight. Josh Hicks, as he just fought off pretty much the entire Lions defense. To Sean Dale at the 2-yard line, big to Sean Dale, who's jogging off the field now, had the last crack at him and couldn't bring him down. The impressive effort by Hicks, and he gets his 2nd touchdown of the night. Samaglia on for the point after try here, which has been pretty much an adventure every time out, and that one is blocked again by Lane Phillips, and he'll be taken down and out of play. Now a little extracurricular on the sideline over here. Don't like to see that. No real good reason for it as flags fly and players come off the bench here to try and get calmer heads to prevail. It's been a well-played game, honestly, and hasn't been a chippy at all. Been some good, hard, clean hits, but nothing out of the ordinary, Mike, I don't think, or unusual. Just a little bit of frustration perhaps there from especially the Lions, who were very much in this game in the second half until Tampa Bay started pulling away. But we'll see what the calls are here. Probably offsetting personal fouls would be my guess.
I can't imagine that the calls will go one way.
Don't imagine. I didn't see any ejection signals given or anything like that. So we'll see. Now the two teams having a little discussion right near the midfield line at the 25-yard line, clapping hands, and still a little bit of jawing going on. Travis Beatty Jr., one of the Lions that was involved in that. So we take a look at the replay on the touchdown. What a great run by Hicks. I mean, he breaks 1, 2, 3, 4. The last one, 5 tackles to get into the end zone. Great individual effort by Josh Hicks.
To maintain the leg strength to avoid.
So apparently it was not offsetting because they sounded like they were going to tack some penalty yardage on after the kickoff on the first play from scrimmage. So I did not hear officially what the call was. So we'll figure that out. But hope that's it for the extracurricular fireworks here. With just 2:55 to go, don't want to see anybody get hurt or anything untoward happen here late.
Of course, all that was a result of a blocked extra point attempt.
Yeah, and it was Phillips who blocked it and was taken into the boards kind of hard, but didn't look particularly, like it was that unusual or dirty or something underhanded was going on. So. But perhaps the Lions took a bit of exception. I'm not sure if sometimes something said. So the kickoff here by Cimaglia. And this one could be through and true, or is it going a little right? It is a touchback. It just missed the right upright. Cimaglia has a 1-pointer in this game already.
Wide right on that kick.
I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. Please never, ever use those words again in my presence.
I will never do that, I promise. Of course, Florida State fans feel the same way.
Well, that's true. That's true. But I still would maintain it's more painful for the Bills fans than Florida State.
The stakes were higher.
They were a little bit higher, and not that far down the road.
And it had a global audience, too.
Oh, my. Was not one of the Super Bowls I was at. Had the privilege of covering the Bills for a few years back in Western New York in the 90s and got to 2 Super Bowls to cover them. But same result all 4 times, unfortunately. And as it turned out, that first one, wide right, was by far the best chance that the Bills ever had to win a Super Bowl. So that penalty yardage was tacked on to the kickoff touchback. So the penalty was called against Tampa Bay as we have a run by Jalen Odom, and he is knocked to the sideboards. And that's as big a hit as we have seen all game.
I think that was a bigger hit than the issue we had on the far sideline.
Oh, by far, yeah. And a good hit. I mean, nothing, again, wrong with it. It was just a couple of passionate football players going at it, trying to catch a number over there for you to see who it is shaking up.
I think if you look back at that blocked kick on the extra point, the Tornadoes drove the Lions into the Lions sideline, and you could see the Lions players were just right there. So I'm sure a few things were said that were not appropriate, and that just led to an unnecessary fisticuff.
and led to the penalty yardage being stepped off against the Tornadoes. It was Arthur Hobbs who leveled the big hit on Jalen Odom, and he was shaken up and did leave the field under his own, albeit somewhat reduced power, as we have a timeout taken here by Tampa Bay. Don't forget the Tornadoes will be back in action right here at the RP Funding Center on April 3rd. That is their next scheduled home game. You can check out the complete schedule on the Tornadoes website or on their Facebook page, which has lots of great information, interviews from WFLA's Gabrielle Shirley, who has done such a great job on the Tampa Bay Tornadoes sideline tonight, and other information as well about how you can get tickets to future games here at the socially distanced RP Funding Center. But some very good AAL teams will be visiting later this season. Mississippi Raiders in May, Pennsylvania Union in June, Charlotte Thunder here on the 10th of April. So a couple of back-to-back home games in early April here in Lakeland. Rippey on the keeper this time, dances inside the 10, inside the 5, and is he in for the touchdown? He is. Touchdown for Hunter Rippey, the Georgia-Lina quarterback, and that will make things look a little more respectable here late in the fourth.
No give up on the Lions. All credit to them.
Yep, they have played with a lot of passion and a lot of heart here tonight. As we said, clearly not as much experienced talent, but not as experienced talent as the Tornadoes have on their roster. And ultimately that showed, but has not intimidated the Lions. You're right, Mike.
I see Germany in the backfield. Will they give it to him? I'm watching.
Well, they did it for a touchdown in the first half, and they will do it again. And this time, Germany going to be stopped. Well, why not? They've tried to throw him a pass. That didn't work, although it came close to connecting. He scored on a 4-yard touchdown run in the first half.
It took a nation of tornadoes to stop Germany.
That was a tornado outbreak defensively that stopped them, no question. So, exactly a minute left here tonight in Lakeland, and the Tornadoes will move to 2-0 on the season with a 45-21 lead, and wouldn't be surprised that's how we end up here. But a more competitive performance and better effort by the Lions than some had imagined. And that is to their credit. And a good chance for the Tornadoes to try some things out, look at some guys, and see what works and see what doesn't as they get into the meat of their AAL season here coming up in April and beyond. That Carolina Thunder game should be a real fun one. We look forward to that. That will be here on April 10th, as we said, at the RP Funding Center.
With the fan who holds the ticket number 547.
That's the Saturday of Masters Week.
That's right. I wonder if some of the Georgia-Lina Lions will be there. They play out of the Augusta area. It's on my bucket list, but I don't know if I'll ever get to Augusta. Have you been there? You're quite the golf guy.
I've been there twice.
Wow.
For the Wednesday par 3 tournament, and it's marvelous.
My best golfing experiences, I had week-long passes for the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach in 2000. So was there for maybe the greatest performance in the history of golf with Tiger Woods' 15-stroke win, I think it was, at Pebble.
It was record-breaking. I don't remember the exact number, but I think you're in the ballpark.
Followed him for a couple of days. Followed Jack Nicklaus, who was still playing. My all-time favorite golfer. kickoff is a little short, and here comes the return. Is it Workman still out there? I think he hit the sideboards. I think they're going to blow the play dead, and we still have some extracurricular. It was Workman on the return. Boy, things have really gotten kind of chippy here in the final 2 or 3 minutes, and that's unfortunate. But Workman was whistled down back. I think they're going to mark it somewhere in the vicinity of the 14-yard line. So first down here for Tampa Bay in the final minute. Just kind of want to get through this one now and make sure everyone stays healthy and everyone fights to live to see another day.
I'd be surprised if Carnes does anything other than take a knee.
Well, we'll see. You don't see that a lot in arena football either, but it may happen. Would certainly be the easy play here to just run the clock out, and as we said, you really don't want to make sure there's any silly injuries here. Carnes is still in there. He'll have Andre Davis come out here to the near side, Ricardo Brown as well. And Breon Carnes will operate from the shotgun. Low snap, picks it up, still looks, is looking deep down the field. He's got Brown, and he can't make the reception. Brown got a little bit turned around there, so Tampa Bay does indeed go for the downs to try and tack on one more here, but pass goes incomplete. Beatty again on the coverage back there.
Well, Carnes has definitely proved his arm strength tonight, and that last pass was a good example of just that.
He's got as good an arm as anyone in this league. He's got the college pedigree, the arena football pedigree, the West Coast of Florida high school pedigree. So they'll take a knee, and that is the thing to do here in the final 30 seconds. And I think that should be the last play. Well, the clock is somehow now ticked back to 49.6 seconds. I'm not sure why, but now they're going to let it roll again. So I'm not sure how much time is actually left. The referees are still counting it. The clock is still running. The Tornadoes will have to run one more play here. And it may not be a kneel down because Carnes is back in the shotgun. So they may take one more shot. Carnes will drop. He'll step up in the pocket, has the ball stripped, picks it up on the run at the 20, 25, and out of bounds at about the 10. Now they're going to mark him out, at about the 8, and that may be the last play as the clock stops.
Not often do you see a quarterback drop the ball and then make the most out of a bad situation.
Yeah, and then turn it into a 30-yard pickup. And that will wind out the time, and that makes it official. It is final here at the RP Funding Center in Lakeland. A strong second half performance by the Tampa Bay Tornadoes, who led by just 6 at halftime, 21-15, but it was a good defensive effort pretty much all game long by the Tornadoes, other than those 2 big plays. One set up a touchdown, one resulted in a touchdown. And Tampa Bay, just a little too much talent here tonight for the Georgia-Lina Lions. And the Tornadoes come home winners for the second time in as many weeks here in Lakeland by a final score of 45-21.
Well, last week they scored 48 points. Tonight, 45 points. And I think the second half was really symbolic of what we thought the game would look like. All credit to the Lions for their lion-hearted efforts and no quit in them. So it was a learning experience for both.
And it was an impressive effort by them, considering it's their first game, but really not a bad performance by the Tornadoes. I mean, I know Stevie Thomas will want to clean some things up, and some of those dropped passes, they could have had a couple extra touchdowns that they didn't get tonight, but they nonetheless, as you mentioned, put up 45 on the board, and a pretty impressive performance. Really too much talent, as it turns out, is what it turned into in that second half. We mentioned that the Lions maybe got a little bit ground down a little bit just by the talent of the Tornadoes. And, of course, Barnes to Carnes, or Carnes to Barnes, actually, 4 times was just too much to overcome. And that's a connection that may pay dividends not only tonight but all season long.
And, of course, I think Gabrielle's got a interview down the sideline for us. Take it away.
Tampa Bay Tornadoes. Coach, your team did not back down tonight. What did they show you out there on the field? Because this game was quite a physical football game.
It was definitely a physical football game. I think they showed the fact that they can persevere through all obstacles. We had a lot of mental breakdowns on both sides of the ball, but at the same time, they stuck to their guns, and we were able to come out with a victory.
Spoken like a true coach. He was telling me standing here on the sideline that, yes, they had the lead, but there were plenty of mistakes out there. What do you really want this team to work on in the future for future games?
I would say, well, it really actually starts in practice. You know, we stress them over and over again. You know, the way you practice, it carries over to the game. So if you come in practice, you know, after winning and you come in lackadaisical throughout the week, you're going to come into the game lackadaisical. So, you know, at the same time, I was just glad that we were able to get it together second half and pull out a victory.
Congrats on the win. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That was head coach Stevie Thomas. I'll send it back to you in the booth.
Appreciate it, Coach, and appreciate it, Gabrielle, for your great work on the sidelines tonight. And as we said, there was things to be happy about if you're Coach Stevie, and if you're Coach Stevie, there were things to be concerned about a little bit. And I think he made a good point, is the preparation will lead to the results on game day, and that's something that sounded like he might have a little message or two for the guys this upcoming week as they get ready for a game here on April 3rd, and then the visit by the Carolina Thunder on the 10th of April.
I don't expect a lackadaisical week of practice this week because the results we're seeing in the first half, second half was what we expected.
Yeah, I think it was, and I think they also found some things, as we said, Barnes with a very big night, 4 touchdowns. Josh Hicks running the ball pretty effectively when he had the opportunity with 2 touchdowns in the game, and Ricardo Brown, a deep threat to be certain, and give credit to the offensive line, I thought, tonight for Tampa Bay as well. Those guys, just like defenders in this league, don't get a lot of credit, and there was really only maybe a couple of times all game that I can think of that Carnes was under pressure and had to either change his plan or throw quickly and not find a receiver. But for the most part, all game long, Carnes had all kinds of time back there to throw.
He did indeed. I think had Patrick Mahomes been watching this game, he would have been jealous. Had I been given that much time in Tampa, I may have produced a different result. But I think one of the best plays of the game was Hicks's second run. He went through 5 or 6 defenders and finished up on his feet in the end zone, standing up.
Yeah, and we talked about the hustle and heart that produced several touchdowns tonight, and that was one of them indeed, as I think he ended up breaking like 5 tackles on the way to the end zone from 8 yards out. And when you get down into that area in arena football, that is tough yardage to get. So the final, once again, here tonight, 45-21, the Lions game. But Georgia-Lina making the trip from Augusta just coming up short. The Tampa Bay Tornadoes improved to 2-0 on the season. Back in action here at the RP Funding Center on April 3rd and again on April 10th. And visit the Tornado's official website for ticket information or their social media platforms, Facebook and others, and that will have ticket information as well. Had a nice crowd here on a Sunday night at the RP Funding Center, and expect some large crowds in April as well as this team continues to play some very good football. So that'll do it from the RP Funding Center here tonight. My thanks to Mr. May, my thanks to Gary, Mike, and the crew from GT Sports. Justin down on the field doing hazardous pay. Justin Fields with great field camera work. Gabrielle Shirley, a great job on the sideline as well. It takes a team to put on the broadcast as well, and we appreciate everyone's efforts. And we thank you especially for tuning in. We'll look for you again on April 3rd. The final, once again, here from Lakeland, it is Tampa Bay 45, Georgia-Lina 21. Until April 3rd, be well and be safe, everybody. Good night.